The car behind me is my Chili Bowl midget, the one that I won the Chili Bowl with. And what's interesting about that is it's actually the car that iRacing scanned that's going to be available to all the iRacing members out there.
Welcome one and all to V8's Online's live broadcast of the iRacing Blancpain Endurance Series qualifiers. Once again, after last week at Monza, we come to the second round of this qualifying series for the last 26 spots in next year's Pro Series. Exciting stuff. My name is Reese Gardner. Joining me in the commentary box and directing, Jay Kennedy. Jay, how are you?
Yeah, very good, mate. I'm very excited for tonight. It's going to be a good fun night of racing. Once again, last week turned on an amazing show. Some real big curveballs that we weren't expecting, and tonight will be no different for sure. So looking forward to it.
Yep, certainly are. We're at Silverstone tonight, one of the most historic circuits in the world, the host of the first ever Formula One World Championship Grand Prix, and the centerpiece of British motorsport for the last 60 years. So, yeah, I'm quite excited. These modern GT3 cars battling it out for 3 hours around this, I guess you could call it a historic layout, because it technically doesn't exist anymore, with the Abbey chicane, the bridge corner, and the tight ending section of the lap.
It's awesome to see that we've still got this circuit. As you said, it is a bit historic, but for the most part, the circuit's still the same in its modern form. A few minor changes and a couple of layouts that no longer are able to be run, but cool to see that we've still got this awesome layout, which is really going to turn on a bit of a surprising show here in these cars, with tyres playing a bigger key tonight than fuel. We saw last week fuel was the big thing, but tonight is all about tyres and tyre conservation. If you are able to risk it with 2 stints on a set of tyres, it could prove to be either race winning or race ending, depending on how your strategy goes.
Yeah, certainly will. Those BMWs, though, are well and truly the car to have here at Silverstone tonight. We saw them take some surprise positions at Monza last week. I don't think anyone was expecting a BMW to get on the podium in the split that we broadcasted, but it was... what team was it? Iberica Racing, that's it. Iberica
Yep.
Racing got onto the podium at Monza in their BMW, but now we've got a BMW on provisional pole already. Sim Racing Black, who also finished very well at Monza last week. And also got Iberica Racing currently in 3rd on the timesheets.
Yes, so I've got 3 BMWs in the top 5, as well as a Mercedes and a McLaren. So a little bit of a mixed top 3 at the moment. Top 5 at the moment, which is good to see. As Iberica finishes their second lap, and they'll qualify in 3rd position by the looks of it. Still a few teams yet to put in a lap. We've got 55 cars once again tonight. So another huge field, which is awesome to see on screen. Glacier North. Now we saw those guys work pretty hard to come back through the field in the broadcast split that we had last week, but in the second race, the European time zone, they picked up the win in that race, and that's put them 3rd in the championship at the moment. So good job from those guys to recover what was a little bit of a disappointing end for the first race for those guys, and have come away with a good start to the championship.
Yeah, certainly have, and looking at those points, it is very tight. The cutoff point, of course, is position number 26, and there's only 3 points separating Dream Spirits Racing from GTL VRT Gold for that final 26 spot, and the spread is quite tight. Black Star Racing, currently the leaders in the championship in the McLaren, 342 points, and down in 26th position is 272. So that's only a spread of about 70 points, I think.
Yeah, it's not a big margin when you think about how many teams are attempting to qualify for the these pro licenses. So it's great to see how many teams are out there trying to get these positions, and it's going to be hotly contested all the way up until the final round in January.
Yep, certainly will. We've got many hours of hard racing ahead of us in the Blancpain Endurance Series, but qualifying has just ended, and we are about to tick over into the race session, and we'll see just how all of these top sim racing teams go on these tyres that seem to like tearing themselves apart at the moment. On pole, we've got Core Sim Racing Black, with Glacier North in 2nd. Torrent Motorsports BES lining up in 3rd place, with Iberica Racing being bumped back to 4th in the final seconds of the session. Vendaval Sim Racing Blue in 5th. Evolution Racing Team number 29 in 6th place, with Jim Racing Pink in 7th. They'll be wanting to capitalize on some better positions than last round. Vendaval Sim Racing Yellow in 8th. 9th, SimRC.de Crimson, and completing the top 10, Thrustmaster Movano Red.
Reese, I might have to get you to run through the rest of the grid because my timing has not done what it's supposed to do.
Shall do. In 11th place, Tio Martin Esports. 12th, Iberica Racing Thrustmaster. 13th, Odox Motorsport. And 14th, Jim Racing Yellow. 15th, Esther Racing Team. Teo Martin Esports number 65 in 16th, Pure Racing Team Black in 17th, Zenith High Speed in 18th, 19th, Zenith ASR. GTL VRT Gold lining up in 20th place. Those are the guys in 27th place in the standings. Odox Motorsports Samsung in 21st. 22nd, Euphoria Racing Rembolsing. SRB Racing in 23rd. PSR Red in 24th position, with RSO BGT2 in 25th. Pure Racing Team Yellow lines up in 26th, with Wave Driving Revolution GT3 number 1 in 27th. Euphoria Racing lining up again in 28th, with Jim Racing Azuri in 29th. Rounding out the top 30, Team RSO BGT. Evolution Racing Team number 32 and 31 line up in positions 31 and 32. The OCD and everyone is going off right now. Mad Cow Racing, Bessie in 33rd position, with Shimiya Machimi Sim Racing Blue in 34th. Dream Spirits Racing lines up 35. GT Ross SST Pro White in position 36. Iberica Racing Interactive 4 in 37th place. Black Star Racing, last round's winners, lining up in 38th position, so a few problems for them as the field pulls off behind the safety car. 39th, Evolution Racing Team 30, Torsen Motorsport in 40th, Paraguay Racing AV in 41st, Champsai Racing RTP in 42nd, Blue Flag Racing lining up in 43rd position, then they're followed by Glacier South, PSR Orange, Hostingveld BGT, Redface Racing Q Pro, Dream Factory, German simracing.de Blue, and your final few positions in this 54 car field are 70 Team Thrustmaster, VEC Sim Racing, GT Ross SST Pro Orange, Radicals Online, JRT, and Black Bull Racing ASR number 27. That's your 54 car field for the second round of the Blancpain Endurance Series qualifiers here at Silverstone.
Another big field once again. As we said before, it's not about fuel. Fuel is definitely no real issue. Everyone will make it to the hour point fairly easily, but making sure they've got enough tyres to complete 2 stints is what can make or break this race tonight. So we'll see some funky strategies on tyres tonight. Wouldn't be surprised if some teams maybe even pull a 3-stop strategy just so they can only change tyres once at about the hour-and-a-half mark. We could see something funky with that. A team that, you know, is right on the bubble, got nothing to lose, might try something different. So look to see someone play a real curveball game in this one. It's going to be very, very exciting.
Yep, certainly. Cannot wait to see these cars come out of Woodcote at racing speed. So it's going to be a difficult first lap, I think, for Core Sim Racing with Glacier North right behind them, because the opening part of the lap here at Silverstone is pretty biased towards the McLaren. A lot of straights, long straight line sections, of course. We've got the run up to Cops and the run up to the S's, and then the Hangar Straight, a favourite passing spot, and for slipstreaming as well. So Core Sim Racing, Ricardo Castro-Ledo is going to be a bit vulnerable in the opening part of lap 1, but once they get past the club chicane, actually past Abbey, which they're going through right now, this final sector of the track is where the BMW really shines. And if Ricardo is still in front of Emil Ritvanimi, well, Emil's going to have a bit of a hard time getting past him and possibly get passed by Nestor Garcia Jr. in the Iberica Racing BenQ machine. But don't discount Torrent Motorsport and Evolution Racing Team in those Mercedes behind them. Mercedes, an all-rounder car, well and truly, and the majority of teams have decided to go for that car, so look out for them too.
So BMW, McLaren, Mercedes, BMW, Mercedes, the top 5 cars as we get ready to go. The pace car is in and away we go. 3 hours here at Silverstone. And a good jump from the Core Sim Racing team. Done a great job.
Glacier North, though, didn't quite get the reaction that they probably would have been
contact
wanting.
between the ERT car.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
And a few cars off at turn 1 already. That was Iberica involved in that. Oh, wow. That's an awful way to start the race for those guys. So
yeah,
now
that's
having to pick their way back through.
That's devastating. A devastating way to start the race for that team.
Oh no, is the Glacier North car around?
Yeah, the Glacier North car is slow as well, so...
Oh yeah, they're off. They're actually off the track. What happened to them? Goodness me.
You can see Nestor Garcia making contact with the ERT car, wheel-to-wheel contact with Elliot Biddle. And just try and get a replay of what's happened to Glacier North while they're in 4th position, just bouncing over the curbs, and around they went. They've dropped back to 43rd position, so not a great start for 2 of our front runners in this race.
Certainly not, and they're going to have to really fight back, Glacier. But up the front, Ricardo Castro-Ledo is well and truly controlling the pace there in the Core Sim Racing BMW, and I don't think Marius Golombek was expecting to get that Torrent Motorsports Mercedes up into P2 by the end of lap 1.
Pretty sure he's pretty happy that he's there, and he's got a bit of a gap too, as we're just looking back in the field. 25th, 26th, 27th, and back. Massive gaggle of cars that are really struggling to find their groove and their rhythm at this early stage.
Yeah, we've got an Audi, the RSO Audi, in between these BMWs and Mercedes.
Oh, and they're 2x2 behind.
Seeing some side-by-side action further back between the Shinya Machimi and Torsen Motorsport cars going side-by-side down the start-finish straight, and that Champs iRacing Mercedes behind them is looking to get involved in this as well.
Oh, don't go side by side here. Not this stage. It's too early to do things like that.
Yeah, far too early. Well, that didn't stop a few people on lap 1, did it?
No, back up the front. Second and third is on. Under brakes.
Oh, yeah.
The Van der Velde car up the inside. Cornelius may be able to get this done. Just. So good move.
Yeah. Golombek just wasn't able to hold it around the outside on that surface with very little rubber on it. Starting to see a bit of a racing line form already here, but wow, the gap that the Core Sim Racing car has is phenomenal.
It's out to 1.6 seconds already and growing fairly quickly.
I'm just gonna double check what happened to how the Iberica car is going. Come on.
Yep.
All right, sorry about that, guys. A little bit of a technical issue there. We are back. Pictures will be coming to you very shortly. Core Sim Racing still leading by about 2 seconds from Van der Velde Sim Racing Blue. So it's looking a bit spread out in the top 3 right now. But Jim Racing Pink, further back in 5th place, is leading miniature gaggle of cars with Theo Martin Esports, Odox Motorsports, Iberica Racing Thrustmaster in their own little pack. And seeing a pass for 6th place, or an attempted one. Julian Rodriguez Moreno holding it around the outside of Stowe on Jesus Cecilia. And the Core Sim Racing car, well, Ricardo Castroledo is basically untouchable right now. He's got a fantastic lead over Fabrice Cornelis. But it looks like really where it's at is down in the field, because the cars are mostly single file right now, but they're all quite close. And looking even further back, the Black Star Racing car is attempting to regain positions. Joni Heikkinen is currently fighting his way through the field, attempting to get by one of the Evolution Racing Team Mercedes. Having a difficult time of it.
Whoa.
Just went off. Yeah.
Oh,
no!
That's messy.
Yeah, that is. Got people going 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 through that final section of the lap. That could have ended very badly for Black Star Racing.
Now, apologies for that. I'm not sure what happened. All of a sudden, my PC decided to not play friendly and just shut down. I could hear everything, but nothing was coming out, so my apologies for that. We're back. The wonders of the internet, hey? Oh, look, Glacier
Yeah,
North!
whoa,
Oh, another
whoa.
big moment for Glacier North.
Oh, goodness me. I just tapped back into iRacing to see that happen. Goodness me. Glacier North is not having a very good time right now.
No,
They
they're not.
just got out onto that AstroTurf, that very slippery AstroTurf, and wow, well done by Emil Ritvanimi to hold that.
Another twitch then, too, so
Yeah.
car behind the R70 Team Thrustmaster car, looking to take advantage here. This is way back down in the field now. This is for pretty much the last few spots in this race. And that's a car that we would not have been expecting, especially with their great qualifying as well as Glacier North, to see them all the way back now in 48th position.
Yeah, reminder, they started second, so real shame for Glacier, but it's a long race. hopefully for them, they'll be able to regain at least some of that lost position.
That could be a team too that plays that funky strategy game we were talking about before too.
Yeah.
Nothing to lose from way back here. Got only positions to gain. Why not try something a little bit funky? Pit at 45 minutes, pit at an hour and a half, and then take your tyres, and then you'll be right.
Yeah.
It's a good move here. Through, up the inside. So now into 47th position. But we go back up behind 6th position. There's a nice train of cars gathering behind the Teo Martin Esports car.
Yeah, that Teo Martin Esports car has been doing very well to hold back the Odox machine. Of course, Jesus Cecilia attempted to pass Moreno at Stowe on the lap before, but looks like Moreno's gotten out a bit of a gap here, and now Cecilia is under a bit of pressure from Jon Del Val. Yeah, having a bit of a look up the inside. Oh, seeing a pass or an attempted pass from the Vendaval yellow car. Juani Lopez attempting a dive on the Gym Racing yellow car. Oh, have a look at how aggressive Lopez is being in the braking zone there, weaving around.
This car's dropped a couple of spots from the start too, so they'll be looking to move back forward. Especially being in the BMW, they're in the strongest car for this round. Be looking to take advantage of that, especially after a good result too in round 1 at Monza.
They certainly will. And having a look at another big battle pack is the one headed up by the Team RSO Audi in 27th. Proper train behind Stefan Jan.
We've got 8 cars in this battle pack at the moment, so quite a big train of cars.
Yep, and Anthony Winkleman pressuring at the back of Phil Mishaga as they come through Luffield, and wow, what an awesome sight to see a train of cars coming out of Luffield like that.
What an awesome sight to see Bessie back out on track too. Great to see the Mad Cow guys. I know that the pretty much the whole team had a bit of a hiatus for a bit of a fairly decent term as behind Dream Spirits racing car. That was a big moment from Soda Muto, who didn't have a great race at round 1. But great to see Bessie back out on track. A very, I think that's the true meaning of fan favourite, is the Mad Cow racing cars. And seeing a pass with the Odox Motorsport Samsung car through into 14th position on the Zenith High Speed car.
Yes, indeed. Sorry about that. I had a bit of a coughing fit, Jay.
That's okay. I'll let you off, mate. I'll let you off. Back up the front. The front 2 cars, they've blitzed away in the BMWs as expected, but the 3 Mercedes behind, they've closed up. The Torrent Motorsport, the Evolution Racing Team, and the Gym Racing Pink cars, they've all got a lot closer together over the last couple of laps.
Yeah, they have, and, well, they've got 3 very pacey drivers in these cars, and it looks like the battle is the closest between the latter 2. Elliot Biddle in the ERT car and Romano Berenic in the Gym Racing Pink car.
Well, even the car of Biddle is catching Lombeck in the Torrent car, so they're all sort of closing up together at the same time. So cool to see a battle brewing there.
Yeah, definitely. Yellow and black will be filling Marius Golombek's mirrors right now.
I think we said that last week too, didn't we? The 2 cars looked a little bit identical.
Yeah, actually, I think we did. Well, it looks like that is settled for now. That train behind them, headed up by the number 51 car, that's still looking quite spicy. Have a look at how much Jesus Cecilia closes up on brakes. They're
definitely looking a bit more racy in the Odox Motorsport car at the moment, but it's tough to get past when you're in the same mark around this sort of circuit. The characteristics are that it's hard for Mercedes to pass Mercedes, but that BMW behind, the Iberica Racing Thrustmaster car, that's the one to watch in this battle pack, I think.
Yeah, certainly is. Of course, the sister car to that, I think the number 147 who qualified fourth place, they're back out on track. Mark Perez at the wheel, but they are 5 laps down. So it's the Iberica Racing Thrustmaster car that's going to be leading the charge for Iberica this round.
Oh, just going back in the field of Paraguay Racing, and the Team Hensfeld car just had big wheel-to-wheel contact, and just ahead there's another bit of contact and a car around as well. The Red Face Racing car is around.
Certainly not optimal, but it looks like he's managed to get going again.
Has dropped to the back of the field though, but see the wheel-to-wheel contact between the 2 cars ahead, which is what started that spin, and then the 62, the German sim racing car, they then made contact.
Real shame about that, but one battle further back in the field that I'm taking a look at. Way back down in the high 40s in position. Of course, that Glacier North car is still trying their best to make their way through the field, but the battle between the GT Ross and R70 Team Thrustmaster cars is looking very interesting. They're closing up massively in the last sector of the track. Of course, where the McLaren struggles the most.
Yeah, it's back in the field here is where the guys are really going to be pushing for positions too. Up the front, the guys are just going to settle into a rhythm, pretty much sit behind, won't stress too much about working their way past, but back in these positions, back in the field, this is where the action's going to be for the most part of this race, at least at this point, for the next half hour or so.
Yes, indeed, and have a look right there. Daniel Quattrapani almost on the bumper of David Pujol. And he himself is pressuring the Black Bull Racing car, who will be enjoying this this gain in positions that they've had. They started dead last in 54th place, and now they're up to 48th, so making gains.
Let's go back up the field. The battle 6th back. That train of cars has closed up a fair amount in the draft down the back straight.
Yeah, it has. Those two BMWs in that sea of Mercedes will be liking the draft that they're getting. But Julian Rodriguez Moreno is holding on very nicely at the front of that pack. Jesus Cecilia, I can tell from the body language of his car, he really wants to be up the front of that pack, but he's just not able to get it done.
He wants to be leading that train. He doesn't want to be in or using someone's draft. And I've just noticed as well, just ahead, that battle pack for 3rd, they have closed up again as well.
Oh yeah, they definitely have. Not much separating them now. Marius Gollenbeck, though, taking a bit more of a direct line out of Luffield and gaining slightly on Elliott Biddle. And of course, as you mentioned before, Jay, these guys don't need to fuel save this time around. It's not like Monza where, you know, there's so much of the track that's full throttle that a lot of cars won't stand to make it on a full tank in a way that would be beneficial to their strategy. But here, they can get to about 65 minutes easy, so they can afford to not fuel save in a draft. Usually, if a car needs to fuel save and they're behind another car, they won't try to pass them. They'll just lift and coast. But these guys don't have to do that. They can take full advantage of the draft and use it to try and attempt to pass.
And that battle pack we were watching, the Van der Velde car up the inside of the Gym Racing yellow car, but a little bit of contact between them, and the pure sim racing car might come through as well.
Yeah, or
the pure racing car, sorry.
Between these guys.
The Iberica car just ahead almost made contact into the back of the Odox Motorsport car.
Have a look at Daniel Cruz, though. Just able to hold it around the outside, side by side with Juani Lopez.
Good bit of driving there, holding it.
Yeah.
And he's been stuck on the outside pretty much the whole way through that section. There's only one corner that he was on the inside for, which the Van der Velde car could hold on the outside quite easily. So, good bit of driving there from Daniel Cruz to hold on.
Yeah, certainly. Taking advantage of that Mercedes torque. But now, the effect of that is, whoa, hold up a minute. Juan Lopez, very late on the brakes, but this has broken up that battle pack. Those two guys holding each other up. So it's allowed Del Valle, Cecilia, and Moreno to break away. Speaking of Moreno, actually, he's managed to gap Cecilia by a fair margin.
He has. It's a bit surprising to see, saying that was probably almost distracting for Cecilia when De Valle nearly made contact into his rear. So possibly that would be why there's that little bit of a breakaway happen, but that's a fairly substantial gap at the moment and may almost be out of draft range here.
Yes, indeed.
Iberica racing car, though, looks pretty settled, pretty controlled at the moment. I mean, De Valle wants to get through, but at the same time, I think he looks quite happy just sitting there if he can't get through. It's
certainly.
Not making any bold moves or anything like that at the moment, does it?
Nah, certainly not. And, you know, fuel saving is not necessary in this race, but still, if you don't really stand a chance of getting past the car in front of you and you lift and coast a little bit, save a bit of fuel, it can minimize your pit stop time. So it's not entirely pointless. Have a look at how much Del Valle closes up in this final sector. All these slow corners that the BMW loves so much. And some of the BMWs, especially further back in the field, may chance taking tyres on only one stop. I doubt we'd see many of the BMWs up the front do that, because, you know, they can afford to stop and take tyres at both of their stops. Why wouldn't you at that stage? It'd just be too much to lose.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think the guys at the front, first and second cars, will see them take the traditional filler up, get new boots, and off they go. But back in the field, if you're in the 20s or even 30s in the BMW, you might risk it. Or as I said, that other funky player pitting at 45 minutes, filling it up, pit at an hour and a half, fill it up, and then take tyres. Then you do take the one tyre stop, and then you can use that tyre advantage, because at the end of the hour and a half, that hour and a half to 2 hours, that section there will be very, very tough for a driver that tries a big long stint on one set of tyres.
Yep, it certainly will, and we don't quite know how this is going to pan out. We don't know what any of these teams are thinking about strategy, so we'll be just as surprised as you, the viewers, when a team decides to flip the strategy, if they decide to.
The two BMWs up the front, 4.5 seconds separating Core back to Van der Velde, and then another 4.1 back to the Torrent Motorsport Evolution Racing Team and Gym Racing battle. And that battle is actually enabling the TO Martin car to close up a little. They're not far off the back now. I feel like they're a bit closer than they were.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm just going to quickly compare lap times as they come across the line here. So 48.9 for Golembeck, 48.9 for Biddle, 48.9 for Berenich, but he's really harassing the back of Biddle now. 48.6 for Moreno. So he was 3/10 faster than this three-car battle here for third. Another 48.6 for Jesus Cecilia and a 48.7 for Del Valle. So
yeah, so the last 2 laps he's gained pretty much 4/10 on that pack.
Yeah, these guys are catching. This
Yep.
could be like a 6 or 7 car train for third place soon.
And that'd be good for the Iberica Thrustmaster car in 8th position, because that brings them as a BMW into the fight. So on board with Elliot Biddle is now the gap staying very consistent at 2 to 3/10 of a second now. It was sort of hovering between 2 and 5. It was sort of stretching out and closing up, but now well and truly on it.
Yeah, for sure. And Golenbeck, he's still holding station at the front of that train, but you can see that both Biddle and Berenich, they're starting to turn up the aggression slightly. So Golenbeck did a 48.8, Biddle a 48.9, 48.85 for Berenich. But Julian Rodriguez Moreno was still faster than all of them.
Yeah, another 10th. So gap between 3rd and 6th now is around about 1.5 seconds. So when we were sort of starting to look at that, it was about 3. So 3rd back to 11th now is 4 seconds.
This is getting exciting. And the view that that Denis Grabowski has in the Pure Racing Team Black Mercedes of this huge train of cars all the way to 3rd place in front of him, that must look pretty tantalizing from that perspective. You can get 3rd to 11th in a single shot here. That's insane.
Yeah, it's very, very impressive to see how close all these cars are battling at the moment.
Still no super aggressive passes being made, which is understandable. We were barely half an hour in to this 3-hour race, so can't really afford to make any hero moves this early on.
Saying that we've just seen a pass between the Mad Cow Racing and the team RSO.
The Black Star Racing McLaren is out, Jay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's disappointing for those guys.
Yeah, it is. What happened to them? I don't know. I can't see what happened to the Black Star car. I don't think they're out necessarily. They might be in the pits just taking some damage repair. Still, our McLaren teams have not had the best of nights.
No, definitely not, especially after the promising look that we were getting from qualifying. I thought we might have seen a bit more of a show from them, but doesn't look like it's going to be too good a night. The highest place Mercedes is the battle 3rd, 4th, 5th and back. Our highest place Ferrari is in 12th, the plain white Esther Racing Team Ferrari that did pretty well at Monza as well. They're 15th in the championship, so they're going along quite nicely. But highest place Audi is the Team RSO BGT, which was the car that we saw unfortunately crash with about 20 minutes to go. Yeah, in the first round, and McLaren's. We have to go all the way back down the field to, how far down is that? Glacier North car is now our highest placed McLaren. And of course they started second.
Yeah, real shame. I mean, that McLaren is an extremely temperamental car at the best of times, and around a track like Silverstone, it's sometimes compared to Monza because it's generally a very high-speed track, but it's got a lot more bumps than Monza, and it's got a lot more long sweeping corners, which the McLaren is not a huge fan of. Also quite bumpy.
Have a look at the Iberica racing car. Sorry, Reese, it's close enough. Yeah. It's right in the draft range here. It could be a dive bomb here. Close enough. Will we see it? No. Thought about it, though.
He
but
did.
If he can stay close enough now, as he is now for the next 3 corners, then it will be time for the BMW to shine. So this is the closest that Van der Velde's been for the last few laps.
Yes, indeed. Oh, very aggressive re-entry to the circuit from Jesus Cecilia. He's still well and truly monstering the back of, well, actually, yeah, he's caught back up to Moreno.
He has, and Moreno's actually dropped from those 3 cars ahead. But here comes Van der Velde, close enough now. Oh, almost contact.
Yeah, that Iberica BMW's doing, Cecilia running a bit wide in left field. Almost allowed Del Valle to just slide up the inside, but not quite. Once again, that Mercedes, once you get on the gas, it's pretty much unstoppable.
Gap at the front. Core Sim Racing back to Van der Velde. 6 seconds now. What a job from the Core Sim Racing guys. They are just blitzing at the moment. Van der Velde car's doing a great job too. They've now pulled 5.5 seconds. But 3rd, 4th and 5th is very, very tantalising. But 6th back, that pack is now a 6-car battle. And it's well and truly on.
Yeah, it is. And it looks to me as though Jim Racing stand to profit well from this. They're the only team with 2 cars in the top 10.
Yes, a 5th and a 9th. Yeah, Jim Racing yellow car in 9th in the middle of this pack.
It's very tense out there. It's like a game of high-speed poker. Everybody's just holding their cards close to their chest and...
Jim Racing car. Just as you say that, the Jim Racing car thought about making a move on the Evolution Racing Team car, backed out of it at the last moment, but it was almost contact between them, and the TM Martin Esports car is not far away again.
No, certainly not. I'm watching with bated breath to see what kind of lap times these guys are doing here. So Berenic does a 48.977 and it's a 48.815 from Moreno, so just a tiny little gain once again. And you can see how much Berenic is pushing. He went all the way out into the slippery AstroTurf out of Copse. You can see the rubber being laid down on the track quite easily now, especially over that curb in Beckett's. Using that curb to the nth degree. Berenic lost a bit of ground there to Biddle.
Yeah, that gap's out to 4.5 tenths, so not too sure what's happened there. A bit of a surprise to see them as far apart It's probably the biggest gap they've had for the last 25 minutes.
Yeah, having said that, Berenic just caught right back up to Biddle through the Vale Club section, so the battle's closed up once again. Oh, he's very aggressive under brakes. I'm impressed that he's able to pull it up like he has. Has to get on the brakes a bit into bridge.
Here we go.
Attempts a look into Priory, probably just to unsettle Biddle slightly.
Oh, contact between cars back in that pack behind.
Yeah, they're all packed like sardines back there right now.
Oh, we got a car around back in the field. The Iberica Racing 444 entry. They were in 25th and they've just lost a whole heap of spots. Try and pick up what's happened to that car.
A little bit of damage on that car as well. Excuse me.
So I heard contact, but I wasn't quite sure if it was from the pack we were watching. It was the car that's now into 25th. Wheel-to-wheel contact between the 12, the Wave Driving entry, and the Iberica Racing car.
Trying to go side by side through Priory doesn't always work.
Oh, the gap between 5th and 6th, it's down to half a second.
Yeah, so now this is almost an actual unbroken train of cars all the way from 3rd down to 11th.
Yep, 9-car battle pack here. I don't have my battle pack graphic go that high. I didn't expect to have to make a graphic for 9 cars. But I tell you what, the Jim Racing car looks the raciest, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and it looks like he's going to attempt to move up the inside at Abbey. Biddle gives him room. Oh!
Oh, around! Big contact with the fence.
Oh my god, what happened there? Looked like Biddle oversteered into him.
Let's see if we can get another look, because...
Yeah, get another look at that. Oh, my light just flickered. That's not good.
Don't disappear on me.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll try not
to. That was very weird bit of contact there, wasn't it? And we've also seen the Zenith High Speed car has also stopped. So we've got another car involved in another incident. We'll try and get another look at this though.
Looks to me like Biddle got on the gas a bit too hard. Yeah, and
it just
got
snapped,
caught out on those marbles. Yeah. Yeah, onto the marbles, and by the time he was still sideways, and the Jim car was turning in for the second part of that chicane. So, just very unfortunate contact between those cars, which is, wow, that is a real shame for Jim as well, because they could have stood to get a podium out of that.
Zenith High Speed cars just had some internet issues or a hardware malfunction, because they have disappeared off the track for quite a few moments and then reappeared. So, they're having some sort of tech issue.
The Jim car with extremely heavy damage coming out of Luffield here. They're going to go straight for the pits. Oh, Berenic barely able to keep the car pointed straight.
Very disappointing end to the race for the Jim Racing guys.
Yeah, I feel for them, man. They were doing so well.
They were. We're just going back in the field. 26th, 25th, 26th, 27th. The Team RSO BGT Audi leading off the Mercedes Dream Spirits Racing, which is the car right in the cutoff on 26th at the moment, and the Torsten Motorsport car behind. These guys are having a pretty good battle with the GT Ross SST and the Blue Flag Racing cars not far behind as well.
Yeah, certainly. Very nice little battle pack forming here. Of course, Anthony Winkleman in the Mad Cow Racing car up ahead of them. No trouble in
Euphoria
front or behind, but
Euphoria Racing car, the 49, had a big moment, and the 86 had a moment as well, avoiding them.
Closed up behind him. Oh, Jakub Brzezinski in the ERT number 32 car going side by side behind him with the reimbursing Euphoria Racing car. Oh, going side by side into cops.
Just get a quick replay to see exactly what happened, because so the Euphoria 86 car had contact between that one and the 73 car, the pure racing team car. And the other Euphoria car then checked up to avoid contact. We go back live. Jim Racing yellow, pure racing team black, side by side.
Oh yeah, and have a look at the drive that the Pure Racing Team car has out of Stowe, and he's going to complete the move there. Denis Grabowski nearly getting into the back of Del Valle. It always astounds me how a lot of these guys just manage to pull their cars up without taking another car out. So Denis Grabowski now ahead of Daniel Cruz in that little battle pack, and well, it looks to me as though that 9-car train that we were seeing forming has dissipated somewhat up the front, at least. Golombek and Biddle alone by themselves, but Jesus Cecilia. Oh, Cecilia got past Moreno. I didn't even notice.
No, I didn't either. So that's happened a couple of laps ago. So it must have happened while the aftermath of that accident was going on, because it's been marked in 5th position for 2 laps now. So not sure when that happened. I don't think I'm going to be able to get a replay of that, unfortunately.
Well, nonetheless, Jesus Cecilia has now put that Odox Motorsport number 28 Mercedes into 5th place outright in this race. And, well, he's got a fair gap to Elliott Biddle, but I don't know, I get the feeling that if Biddle has more problems, he might be able to make some inroads.
We'll find out in the next little bit. I mean, we're now coming up to the point of the race where guys are going to be thinking about pit stops, especially if they can get the 65-minute mark for fuel, can then pit 50 minutes into the race and do 2 65-minute stints. But again, tyres is going to be key. So it's a bit of a curveball which way you go here, but there's lots of different strategies now to play out from this point.
Yep. Very close between the Tia Martin Esports car and Iberica. Oh, he's going to make a move here. He's going to try. No, yes, no.
Oh,
a little bit
oh
of
my
a tap.
God, forced into a move with the contact from behind.
Yeah, Denis Grabowski quite aggressive there.
Oh, we got a big crash back in the field.
Oh no.
It is the Torsden Motorsport car, the 21. It has made big contact with the wall and then big contact with another car. Try and work out exactly what happened, deconstruct that accident, because that looked very big.
Yeah, and that car's not looking too healthy. Oh yeah. That is yeah, looks to me as though the GT Ross SST car had a bit of an issue coming out of Abbey.
Yeah, they've now disappeared from the race as well, so they've had some sort of tech issues. They've either had net issues or tech issues, because they also actually look like they were on the brake and hard on the wheel, and then they've just pulled the plug, like they've known something was going to go wrong.
Yeah, from my perspective, it also looks like the GT Ross car sort of teleported a bit more to the left. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a very odd incident.
You just see it was on the brake, and then it's like the front wheels weren't moving anymore. And
meanwhile, John Del Valle has gotten past Julian Rodriguez Moreno, as the Teo Martin car is now under pressure from Pure Racing Team, and Jesus Cecilia has gapped that pack quite nicely.
He has. They're just getting a quick Cut Price Racing replay. Thank you to Cut Price Racing for their support of us here at V8 Online. And just a little bit of a running wide moment for Moreno, and through went Del Valle and move done. So that BMW now up into 6th position. We've got 3 BMWs, 3 Mercedes in our top 6. So maybe they've hit the incident limit already. Very early in the race for that to happen, but it is possible.
Yeah, it is. If you make enough 4x contacts with like what's the incident limit in these races? 25?
Good question. I've got no idea.
Yeah, 25. So you make contact with enough cars, that can add up.
Yep.
Especially with off tracks as well. Here at Silverstone, and we might be seeing a pass soon for 7th place as Moreno really got crossed up there. Big moment, and of course Grabowski had to check up slightly. That's brought Daniel Cruz back into play. As the leaders have just made their way, well, not the leaders, third back have just made their way through the first on-track lapped car. Thrustmaster Movano Red machine down in 47th. Real shame for Dion Fiallo there. That car started in 10th place, and now they are all the way at the back. Oh, we got a car pitting. That's the Vendaval yellow car pitting.
Yep,
at 52, no, wait, 54 minutes, 55 minutes?
48 minutes. The actual race, you'll be looking at the magic time with the pace lap.
Yes, I will.
So, the first car to pit, Vendaval racing car. So, that's the little bit of the alternate strategy that we were talking about as being a possibility. Have a look at the gap that the Iberica Racing Thrustmaster car's already pulled on the Teo Martin Esports. 1.3 seconds.
Quite impressive. I'm just keeping an eye on the Vendaval car in the pits. They're still stationary.
Fairly long stop for them.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing tyres as well.
Most likely.
Gone over 40 seconds, so it would be...
Here we go.
And just gone to battle 3rd and 4th. That's closed up once again. Yeah, Torrent Motorsport car, the Evolution Racing Team car, they're very close once more.
Yeah. I think something must have happened to Golembeck, because it looks like the gap between Biddle and Cecilia has stayed relatively the same. Having said that, I've only just noticed how much the Iberica Racing Thrustmaster cars caught up to Cecilia in these last couple of laps. And
He's right there now.
I think he's having a bit of trouble with this lap car. I saw him flashing his lights, and, well, Dion Fiallo, he has got his race to run, but Del Valle will be wanting him to make some room, let him go in good time.
Will help the Iberica car getting a bit of double draft down the straight here too, so may be able to get close enough to get right on the tail of the Odox Motorsport car here.
Yep, so Fiallo has now let through Del Valle. So now we can get into
just behind
pursuit of Cecilia. Oh,
Teo Martin Esports and Pure Racing side by side. Almost! No. The Jim Racing car coming through.
Oh, that was stressful. And, I mean, have a look just behind them. Marin Cholak in the Esther car is caught right up to these guys as well.
Yeah, so we've now got a Ferrari inside the top 10.
Yeah, I love seeing the ebb and flow of these battles. Awesome to see. have a look at the last couple of laps here for Golombek. His laps have seemed pretty consistent.
Last lap though, a 49 flat versus Elliot Biddle, a 48.5.
Yeah.
A full half-second quicker, and Biddle is right there now, isn't he?
Yeah, Biddle's been dipping into the mid-48s a few times in these last few laps, so yeah, right on the back of Golombek here, runs a little bit wide in Cops, so lost a tiny bit of ground there, but, well, Golombek...
Jim Racing Yellow in the pits.
Ah, yes.
So they're getting out of that pack that they were in. Not a bad ploy.
Yeah, smart move.
Didn't look like an overly enjoyable pack to be in, so not a bad move to get out of there.
Yeah, certainly. Tell you what, the battle for 5th and 6th is starting to close up. Jesus Cecilia versus Jean Del Valle. Del Valle's just managing to hold on down the hangar straight and really use that BMW's prowess through the corners to catch up to the Odox Motorsport car.
Almost every car in the field is involved in a battle other than our first and second place cars. They're the only two cars that aren't involved in battles, and they've both got 10 seconds either side of them. So 10 seconds between first and second, and 10 seconds between second and third.
Yeah, Core and Vendeval have just done everything right in this opening stint of the race.
And this sort of pace will enable them to do the tyre stop, no drama on the hour mark. So good work from those guys to get a good start in round 1, and then they've just made sure they've carried on with it here in round 2. So just because you got the fastest car doesn't mean that you're going to be given a race result straight away. So need to make sure you actually put the times on the sheet and the points on the board. So doing a very, very good job in this one to consolidate their good start to the championship. It's just seeing the ERT car and the Torrent Motorsport car come out just ahead of some traffic coming out of the pits. So that could be a factor that we hadn't thought about, is traffic coming out of the pits. Cause some havoc here.
Yeah, certainly could. They just come out ahead of Adria Perez. So they are going to resume that battle. But the fight between the 28 and the 10 is, I think, where it is definitely at the moment. Having said that, once again, going side by side, Theo Martin versus Pure Racing Team. Seems to be a very popular place to go side by side is Stowe, and Pure Racing Team. Whoa, Grabowski round the outside of the first part of club.
Yes, the Racing Team car's going to come through.
Yeah.
Are they?
Perhaps had to back out of the throttle slightly, but he's got a run here. And Moreno gets that run back. Bit of a compromised line into Abbey, but he manages to stay ahead still. Hopes are rising there for Esther Racing Team.
Doing a very, very good job as our lead Ferrari. There's only a couple of Ferraris in the field. Actually, there's only the one, which is amazing.
Yeah. So they're doing well, repping Ferrari there. And 5th and 6th has closed right up now. Keep watch on the Iberica car as they come out of Cops, because the BMW just monsters the Mercedes through here. Very slight run on that point.
It's right now that it takes advantage though, isn't it?
Yep, here through the Beckett's S's. Incredible set of corners. He's just managing to stay in touch with Cecilia here. Look at the gap closing under brakes into Stowe. That's very impressive.
Yeah, doing a very, very good job. Just that BMW really does look hooked up. I mean, we know it is, but when you actually see it in comparison to these other cars, it's amazing to think how well they are doing. I mean, we know that it's the track for the BMW, so they really have to take advantage this week in this championship. But definitely going to struggle later on. But as we saw at Monza, you can't discount them even on the tracks that they're weak at. They're still going to be in with the shot.
Yeah, definitely. And have a look at Jesus Cecilia using all of the curb and then some in an effort to stay ahead of Del Valle. Oh, was that contact?
Yeah, there was a little bit of contact there. It was very, very close if there wasn't.
And looked like a little bit of oversteer for Cecilia on the exit of Luffield. So this is allowing Del Valle to make a few more inroads. Have a look at the run he's got out of Cox.
Oh, here we go. Tough spot. Like, great that he's getting a run, but he's just not able to get it at the right spot at the moment, is he?
Yeah, Silverstone's one of those tracks where if you get a run out of a corner on certain places on the lap, you can't really make it work coming into the next one, because the way this track flows is, well, it's, I guess you could say it's very atypical of most circuits. Silverstone starting out as the perimeter road of an airfield, and having its layout gradually changed over the years. It's produced a circuit that drives interestingly and races even stranger.
Now, I think the other thing that a lot of drivers don't factor in is how much camber and off camber there is in the corners. It's a very deceptive circuit.
Yeah, certainly. No, not much elevation change throughout most of the circuit, aside from the bridge section. But yeah, the corners here are very misleading. It looks like a simple circuit to drive on paper. Once you actually get out there and realize the camber changes throughout the corners, the bumps as well, it becomes a completely different beast.
Just on board with Grabowski here. He's struggling to get past this lap traffic ahead. They're definitely hindering him at the moment. As a Teo Martin Esports number 51 car enters the lane. So they're the first to jump as we're on 58 minutes in this race.
Yes, indeed. And the battle for 5th and 6th still continuing on, and Jesus Cecilia is making that car as wide as he possibly can as they come up to the hour mark. It's going to come down to a pit stop between these guys, I think.
Yep. And I think the Iberica... Oh, big dive bomb!
Goodness
Was
me,
not ready for that.
How did he pull that up?
I was not ready for that.
What?
He's
That's crazy.
going to have to go around the outside here. He should be able to hold on.
Oh, only just.
Oh, a little bit of contact. Yeah, a little bit of contact there as well. So.
Okay. Wow, that is... I don't think I've ever seen a move quite that extreme. I mean, fair play to both of them. They raced pretty well to have that happen without a real incident.
I'm just going to get a quick replay because we were on board and it absolutely caught me by surprise. And
yeah, like it looked like a very late decision by Del Valle to pass Cecilia there, but Jesus saw him coming at the last second, and well, I don't know. I think it took Cecilia by surprise as much as it did us. He had to wind out the steering slightly, but Del Valle is still right on the back of him as I see the Torrent Motorsports car has come into the pits.
Yep, as we hit 1 hour in this race right now. So the Torrent Motorsport car from third, they are into the pits to break that battle that the Evolution Racing Team car of Elliott Biddle was fighting there. It was getting very intense between the third and fourth place car. But just looking at lap times up the front, we are now 33 laps into this race. We're on lap 34. Have a look at the lap times for our leader. 47.8 very, very consistent. Last lap around, 1 second quicker than pretty much every other car in the field.
That's some excellent pace that that Ricardo Castroledo has in that car, and I mean, what else can you really say? It's just a fantastic drive from these guys so far, mirroring, I think, what we saw from Black Star Racing in the McLaren at Monza.
Yep, I agree. It's just dominating in a way that, I mean, we knew the BMWs were going to be very, very strong, but I don't think we were expecting them to be this dominant, not to have a second a lap. But this is also now too, we're talking about guys that are really starting to struggle on tyres. They're going to have 40-30% left in tread wear on their tyres, and we've still got guys punching out incredibly quick lap times at the front. So it's amazing to think the pace that these guys have got.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
The Odox and Iberica cars, jeez, they're close at the moment, aren't they? And into the lane comes
Iberica car. Yep.
It's out of that pack. Not a bad move.
I have to be reminded every single time, but does the undercut exist in this kind of racing?
I think the undercut more would exist in that if you've been behind, you could probably save a dash of fuel.
Iberica overshot.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Del Valle had to reverse back a little, so that's cost him some valuable time.
With the undercut, I don't think there's an undercut as such in regards to getting tyres and getting out there on fresh rubber, but I think the fact that you're tucked in behind another car and you can save a fair bit of fuel when you're drafting. So if you've been tucked in behind another car, lifting out of the throttle a little bit early, that could get you that 1 second you need shorter in the stop to then undercut in that way. So unlike what we see when we broadcast the V8 supercars with the big undercut on tyres, the undercut here is more on how much fuel you save, I think.
Yeah. Well, Jesus Cecilia and Denis Grabowski have now closed up.
It's got very close, hasn't it?
Car. Yeah, after the Iberica car went into the pits. So 1 hour and 3 minutes or so
later into the
race.
pits.
Oh yes. So Core Sim Racing take their stop. Now, I'm looking at 4th and 5th. See which one of them blinks first, or if both of them.
Both of them will come in here
at the same time.
I think they'll both come in together here. I think the pure car will be thinking, I need to pit. No. Okay, I'm wrong.
So this is a good move by Jesus Cecilia as well, because he knows that he's racing that Iberica car.
The Vandervelde car now leads the race, albeit on fuel. Core car still stopped. Seeing the pit lane fairly active at the moment.
Yeah, it's a traffic jam in there.
Now Glacier North, I was just going to say Glacier North, who we saw start in second, they've made their way from 53rd back at the start of this race. They're now back up to 41st, so they've already gained a fifth of the field. Very disheartening, isn't it, when you're that far back?
It would be, especially when you start in the position that you do. But Glacier, I think, are no strangers to making their way back through the field. We saw what they did at Monza. They might be able to repeat it here at Silverstone if the stars align.
They're a team that we definitely can't discount. Their other car, the Glacier South car, the A team with Yoni Backman at the wheel, they're currently in 11th, yet to make their stop, but they're going along quite nicely in that car at the moment. Didn't have a great start to the championship, back just in the inside the top 100, but it's not where they want to be, so they'll try and work their way forward over the next few weeks. Vandervelde continue on. The ART car is in, so let's watch this, see where the Torrent Motorsport car ends up in relation to the Evolution Racing Team car.
Right. It's going to be crucial.
Driver swap as well in the Torrent car that we missed as well. It's too much going on. It's so hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah, we got a new driver in the Pure Racing Team Black car. Damien McPhee jumps in, replacing Denis Grabowski. The Evolution Racing Team number 30 car is in as well. Johnny Guindi bringing that car in, as is Yoni Bachmann in the Glacier South car, and that's a very odd angle for Bachmann to stop at. Of course, they don't exactly have the most optimal box placement, do they?
No, that's a tough pit box, the one right at the bizarre spot back there. But Biddle still stopped in the 29. And the 99 now onto the front straight. So this is going to be actually very, very close between the ERT and the Torrent Motorsports cars.
Yeah, it is. Watching with bated breath here.
And the 29 is just coming out of the pits now. So a fairly big jump for the Torrent Motorsport car.
Yeah.
That's a very big jump.
That is very impressive.
Now the big winner out of this pit stop, the pit stop cycle, the Radicals Online JRT car. Now that car is now effective inside the top 10. Let's just go with that. I can't work it out at the moment. My brain's not working, but they did not take tyres at that stop. So that is the car to watch.
That is the car to watch indeed, and watch it we will, because I can't wait to see how they go.
They started last as well, Reese. That's the biggest thing. They're up to 16th with a pit stop. Started last. The Vandervelde car now in, so they are stopped. Jester Racing Team car stopped as well. So I think everyone is now in the lane. Last car left to pit, I think, will be the Redface Racing Q Pro. They're going to stay out for one more, so the field is almost cleansed.
Yeah.
Black Bull Racing now leading. They started complete dead last, 54th. They now lead this race.
That's insane. Just goes to show, like, exactly how much time these cars spend at a standstill in the pits, though.
Yeah, it's incredible how much time is lost in that pit lane. It's nearly a lap. It's just over 3/4 of a lap that you're in the lane for, the time that you lose in the stop. So it's the Core Sim Racing car back out on track, and the Vandervelde yellow car, it's come out just ahead of the Vandervelde blue car. So we've got BMW's effective 1, 2 and 3 now.
Very nice stuff for the BMW teams. Just a bit of an update on the battle that was happening for 4th and 5th between Odox and Iberica. It looks like Iberica has gotten a very good jump, actually, on the Odox car.
Have a look
Have a look
who they're behind. They're behind the Evolution Racing Team car.
Yeah.
That was the car that was in 4th.
Yeah, so, yeah, Iberica have really profited from this. They took tyres, didn't they?
They did, 1:05 for their stop, so yes, a fairly good jump for the Iberica car.
Yeah,
1.5 second quicker in the pit lane than the Evolution Racing Team car.
Again, an impressive performance from Iberica. They've shown themselves so far in this series to be one of the teams that should be at the top of the field, but various factors have kept them from doing so.
And hopefully this race will actually enable them to show what they can do in this series. So we'll watch and see where they end up at the end of this race. But now that we're just getting the field shuffled through and the times all sorted, We can actually see who is where and what is happening. So this now is 11th and 12th. So the Evolution Racing Team car have dropped from 4th to 11th.
Yeah, so the top 10 looks very different right now than it did before. And the Black Bull Racing car has now exited the pits. So they'll fall back into place. Hosinkfeld BGT in the pits as well.
Battle on screen is for position 7 and 8. Euphoria Racing and Tia Martin Esports, the 49 and the 51.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
And
big
through
dive.
he goes. Yeah, very big. But of course, as we've seen so many times with the Mercedes, they somehow managed to pull it up. Awesome brakes on that car.
Now,
So, and that sorry,
I was
go
just
on,
going to
Jay.
say, so leading a race, obviously the core sim racing entry, but second and third, the 13 and the 3, which car was, the yellow car was in second before, or was it in third? Was it the 3 car that was in second?
It was the 3 car.
Okay, so the 13 car did have a 10-second quicker pit stop. It has jumped into second position.
Yeah. Impressive jump from Vendaval Sim Racing Yellow, and they were among the first cars to pit, actually. Remember, he pitted all the way back on lap 26, so
Yeah.
they got that out of the way early.
Yeah, so they're doing that other strategy that we were looking at and talking about potentially could happen. As up the inside goes the GLT VRT Gold car into 8th position past the Euphoria Racing car. That Euphoria car definitely down on pace because the Tia Martin Esports car has already pulled a fairly substantial gap.
Yeah, the Euphoria Racing car did not look healthy through maggots.
Looks a bit broken, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that Radicals Online JRT car, of course, the one that did not take tyres, is looming in the background.
Well, that Euphoria car also did not take tyres, as well as the Wave Driving Revolution car in 7th. So they're the 3 cars at the front that did not take tyres.
Yeah, Radicals, Wave Driving, and Euphoria, all no tyres. All BMWs as well.
Yeah. And we're sort of... We're hearing that... Oh.
Pass. That's Radicals Online giving way to Evolution Racing Team. And we'll have a look at Iberica wanting a piece of that as well. Matt Busser caught out on that gravel that's been taken onto the racetrack through Brooklands, and yeah, well, he's lost 2 positions in the space of 2 corners.
I think with the tyre game that they're playing, I don't think they'll be too stressed at the moment.
Yeah.
They'll just be wanting to get to the end of this stint as high as possible and then come home strong. But they've done
They're
that.
racing against the clock more than anything
Yeah,
else.
that's right. They're not actually racing those cars on track now. They'll be racing them at the end of the race, not now. So they've done it to get themselves some track position and worry about what will happen. They'll probably pit with an hour and 5 minutes or so to go and then come home strong.
Yep, got a slow McLaren there. That's the R70 Team Thrustmaster car. They're back out on track, albeit 7 laps down.
Yep. So we've still got 46 cars on the lead lap. So go back to
That's
the battle
pretty
behind the 29. Up the inside goes the Iberica Racing car.
Oh, but can Elliott hold it?
BMW might be able to hold it on around the outside here.
Oh,
Just gets a
Biddle
nose
just-
in.
Biddle struggling to put the power down, and have a look. The Iberica car's got a bit of a run here. They're going to go on the outside. They're going to go on the inside into Abbey. Can Biddle hold it? No, he can't. So Iberica racing through now.
So John DeValve now He's been wanting to get some moves done in that first stint. He was really trying to get moves done, but wasn't able to do so. And he's finally been able to get a pass done, and I think that'll give him a little bit of confidence now for this stint.
Yep, and the two old-tired BMWs, Matt Bussa and Carlos Villegas, are now involved in a battle of their own. Bussa just got by through Priory.
And the Pure Sim Racing car, the Pure Racing Team car, they want to get through. Damien McPhee at the wheel now.
And I'm sure McPhee will know that these two BMWs in front of him are on old tyres, so he does stand a good chance of getting by them. He'll want to have a bit of a hurry up though, because Aratan Meyer is right behind him in the SRB racing car. Oh,
here we go.
Villegas out on the marbles, and McPhee gets the run onto the hangar straight, and Mayer will attempt to follow him through here.
Tell you what, Mayer's got a run. He might be able to get both of them.
Yeah, he just might. Looks like he elects to stay behind McPhee here.
Good move though. Again, that's the new versus old tyre advantage at this tough track to do this double stint on tyres. So I know I wouldn't be out there requesting for the double stint. And the first running car to do the second stint of tyres is the 12. And have a look at who's right on its tail now. Iberica Racing car is ready to pass the Wave Driving Revolution car.
Yeah, have a look at the run that he gets there out of Abbey, coming into Bridge. Just moving around, wanting to attempt to pass.
As I said, that little bit of confidence from that move, which was a very, very good move, textbook move, will really help out the Val. So, gets the move done, and Biddle now will want to get through as quick as he can.
Yeah, and it looks like Orlandi just lets him go there on the exit of Luffield. Don't know how much of that was due to understeer.
Probably a good old combination of I'm not going to fight too hard and my car doesn't want me to fight, doesn't like it, so
yeah.
Through they both go, back into the top 10. So the three cars that we're watching that have not taken tyres are on screen here. The Euphoria Racing 49 car. They have not taken tyres at the stop. And ahead the Radicals online car, who have made their way from starting in 53rd up to 11th position, up 42 spots. That's a fantastic job. Even on a alternate strategy, that's still a very, very good job to be not in a position based on a different strategy. They're now on the same strategy. They're just on worn tyres. So a great drive from them. And the car ahead as well, the Wave Driving car. Wave Driving Revolution car is the other car that has not taken tyres. So they're the three in our top 20 that have not taken tyres at this stop.
And they've done quite well for themselves indeed.
So at the front now, the gap. First back to second. 17.8. Last lap round 47.7 for the Core Sim Racing car. Next fastest car on track with the two Vendaval cars with 48.2s. Next two cars, the Jim Racing and the Torrent Motorsports car, 48.3s. And the rest of the field, 48.5s and back. So this car, the number one car, is absolutely blitzing everyone at the moment.
Yeah, and Ricardo Castroledo has stayed in that car since the start of the race. He has not let up once in all the time that he's been in that car. He's just been churning out those excellent times.
Just going to bring your attention back to that 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th battle, because Radical's car just made a move on the Wave Driving Revolution car, and the Pure Racing Team Black and the SRB Racing car, they're both ready to pounce on this as well, with 100 minutes of racing left.
Have a look at that. Filippo Orlandi didn't get the optimal exit from Chapel, and now looks like McPhee and Mayer are going to go through here at Stowe. Have a look at the run that Mayer has got right at the end of the straight. Oh, but that's a bit awkward for Aratan Mayer.
Orlandi was actually on the brakes down the straight too, so almost giving the Morse code message that I'm going to let you through, but Mayer sort of second-guessed himself there and backed out of it, and right into this battle now is the Odox car.
Yeah. So...
Lorenz in there.
Not done there. Yeah, Sergi Lorenz taking over from Jesus Cecilia, and Orlandi lets him through too.
Big lock-up for Lorenz as well, so almost had a big moment, but regathered it under brakes.
Oh yeah, geez, he just got caught on the grass coming into Abbey. That's not optimal.
To go back to the Pure Racing Team Black car on board here with Damien McPhee. Looks at the rear of the Radicals Online car that is now up 43 places. What a drive from that car so far.
Yeah, and if I can draw your attention to another battle happening on track right now, go back to the Euphoria Racing car. They've currently got 2 Mercedes behind them.
Oh,
Juan
look
Jose
out.
Sanchez in Odox and Gianmarco Cordova in Teo Martin Esports. So,
Oh, they're both going to go.
Oh, bumper to bumper stuff here.
This is the messy stuff now. That these guys that have got second-hand tyres all behind in the background. Oh, upside down.
Okay, so Torsen Motorsport. It's lighting on their roof out of cops. Oh.
That's that AstroTurf. We talked on Wednesday night for the Oceanic Sprint Championship that the AstroTurf out there is very inviting, very deceptive on how much grip there is out there in comparison to the other AstroTurf at this track. And that's just caught that car out. What an end.
I think a bit of understeer through cops may have contributed to that as well, but Thibaut Probst, certainly probably not a happy camper right now.
No, that's race done for those guys. They were going along all right too. They were fighting just outside the top 10, so that's a disappointing end. We just go back live to the battle, the Radicals car, the Pure Racing Team car, who's just got through 7 car, the SAB Racing car has also gone through. So the Radicals car now back into 12th position.
Yep, and all of that battling that Pure Racing and SRB have had to do has allowed Elliott Biddle to gap them a little in the ERT car.
The Biddle's pulled 3 seconds on these guys now with this fighting that's been going on. Wasn't as easy to go past as expected.
Yep, oh, did I see a bit of oversteer from Elliott Biddle coming out of cops? I don't know, it might have been netcode. The little driver in the cockpit exaggerated wheel movements. But still, you really get a feel for just how hard some of these guys are driving here. They all want that top 26 because that's a spot in the Pro Series for next year, which is one of sim racing's most prestigious competitions.
Yeah, one of the biggest prizes in sim racing up for grabs. So you want to be a part of it, you've got to be in it to win it. So getting that license, it means so much to so many people. So awesome work from these guys for being so competitive and trying to get the good old black stripe. So great to see the fighting that's going on, and for the most part we've seen very, very clean racing too.
Yeah, we have. I mean, the only real incidents we've seen with contact and such like have been through cars making mistakes or going off the circuit. Other than that, the actual battling itself has been really good.
We saw it at Monza too for round 1 last week. Of course, we actually get a break next week, but the week after that we've got the mega weekend of broadcasting here on V8 Online. We've got the 4 hours at Suzuka on Saturday night, then we've got the Oceanic Endurance Championship on the Sunday, and then V8 Scops the Sunday afternoon. So I think we can all have a drink next Sunday on that Sunday night race.
Yeah, I think so. I'll definitely join you for that.
We'll have celebratory drinks when we crown a V8 Scops champion on Sunday, the 3rd of December.
Yeah, of course, that championship.
Euphoria car in the lane again.
Decided.
So the Euphoria number 49 car has come back into the pits, and I think they just slammed into the pit wall as well.
Oh dear.
I think they might be race done.
Yeah, actually, they seem to have exited. Yeah, Carlos Villegas has disconnected, so that's disappointing.
It is. They were, albeit on an alternate strategy, they were really starting to struggle on those tyres. So, see into the pits and decided to give it up. So, unfortunate end of the race for those guys. So, we go back live to the Teo Martin Esports car in 17th position. The number 65 car just behind, sorry, 16th position, just behind is the Wave driving car. So they've just got past the Wave car, which is now back to 17th. But as we said, they're on the alternate strategy. They're on the different tyre strategy.
I'll tell you another thing that I've seen that hasn't really changed unless I'm looking at a different car. I think I am. The 117 car. We're seeing an RSO Audi leading a train of cars again.
Yep. That is the same car again. It's just and have a look at the car behind it too, the Ester Racing car, which is the lone Ferrari in the field. So these two cars, the Audi and the Ferrari, this is probably a track that, I mean, they're both really going to struggle in comparison to the rest of the field on pace, but they're doing a very, very good job. And this round would sort of help their cars more than... Oh, big move for the Ester Racing car. Whoa, that was close.
Vedran Kral just got onto the brakes there. Oh no.
Oh, he's just had some...
Oh, he just disappeared.
Yeah, disappeared for a moment. And
that would have been stressful for Sebastiano Filosa.
Yep, the Jim Racing car. And again, the ERT and Jim cars together again. Albeit different ones than what we saw before, but...
Yeah.
Someone said before, Thrustmaster versus Logitech battle as well in those two teams. Yeah. Interesting battle.
Yeah, battle of the sponsors as well.
Go back to the Radicals Online car and have a look now, as they've got the Odox and Zenith cars behind. The Zenith car. Now, that's a car that we hadn't seen much of in this race so far. Started back in 19th, so just inside the top 20, but they've just been plodding along and doing the BMW thing of just moving forward.
Yeah, that's it. Very good job from those guys. So this battle for 12th, 13th, and 14th is intriguing. Sergi Lorenz, the Mercedes filling in a BMW sandwich.
It's going to be tough for the Odox car. I mean, the Radicals car of Matt Busser. He on this no tyre stop strategy, the lead car on that strategy, he's going to defend as much as he can from the Odox and Zenith cars behind. So those two are going to have to fight rather hard. I'm predicting too that car will be in about 20 minutes time, with just over 70 minutes on the clock, or just under 70 minutes on the clock, to come in for that fresh tyre and go hard then as we hit the halfway point in this race.
Yep, and tellingly, looking at the lap times, Sergi Lorenz has been a bit faster than Matt Busser, but over the last couple of laps he hasn't quite been able to make inroads on him.
It looks like he's not quite as stable as the Radicals car ahead. That Radicals car doesn't look like it has the understeer like it did, say, about 10-15 minutes ago when we saw the Iberica car, the ART car, and the Pure car working their way through. So looks like the tyres have almost come back to Matt Busser again now in this battle.
Well, it's almost entirely possible that Matt Busser has wound the brake bias a bit to the rear. Get herself a bit of extra turn.
That is very possible. Because I think the Odox car might be able to do it here. He's got a very, very good run.
Nah, pulls out of it. Meanwhile, that Zenith ASR car flashing its lights down the pit straight. You can tell that Daniel Cuevas Amador is really wanted to get by this Radicals car himself. But have a look at how Matt Busser just... Wow. The gap that he pulls out through the first section of the Beckett's S's is quite impressive, especially on those warm tyres.
He's doing an incredible job, and that car definitely been the big performer or the big winner out of the first half of this race. Plus 41 spots at the moment, so that's very, very impressive.
Another battle that's happening further down in the field. Positions 33 to 35. Adria Perez in the number 444 Iberica car, getting pressured by two Mercedes. One Yoni Bachmann for Glacier South, the other Rafa Bordoy, who's taken over the GT Ross orange car.
Well, we're talking about Glacier. Glacier North have jumped into the pits, and it looks like they are race done, unfortunately. So disappointing end to those guys. Their race after what was great starting qualifying.
They've got fairly heavy damage on the front and side, so I'm wondering if that was a crash that took them out.
Also seeing the 12 car has just disappeared off the timing sheets as well. So it was the Wave Driving Revolution car. They've just disappeared off the time sheets.
You know what?
Incident cap possibly for them?
Possibly. I'm trying to follow the Glacier North car's last lap as much as I can. But it keeps cutting out for me.
See if I can pick it up. Apparently they made contact with the Black Bull racing car, so...
Yeah, I can see on my replays following the Black Bull car, and yeah, that's probably a pass gone awry.
Oh, there we go, found it. We've got a replay coming up on screen.
Alrighty.
So they worked their way back up to 29th as well, so unfortunate for those guys. Who
Oh yeah. That's not good, that one. Just got a good exit.
Oh! Wow, great exit. Just a little bit of a bump to not necessarily force contact or anything, just a classic push along, but...
Yeah, that's I think that was started like when the Black Bull car moved to the right to cover the line, which is, you know, it's well within Alvaro Sanchez's right to do that, but yeah, unfortunately, looks to me like Rit Vanimi was unable to back out of it too much, and yeah, just gave him the bump.
We'll go back live to the Odox and Teo Martin Esports cars, 15th and 16th. Very, very close battle at the moment.
Yeah, Odox and Teo Martin Esports have been inseparable this entire race.
They both had pretty good starts as well last round too, so Teo Martin Esports car, from memory, I think finished in the top 10, and the Odox car as well was in the top 10 at some points in the race. I think they dropped just outside the top 10 at the end, but they both did very, very good jobs in the first race, and they're doing another good job tonight.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're one of those teams, it seems, that are, you know, they hang around the midfield and they're there to pick up the scraps when people up the front make mistakes. So I'd look out for them more towards the end, the Teo Martin cars. The number 51 already doing an excellent job in 6th place.
Good to see they've got two very solid cars fighting it out at the moment. Well and truly in contention to get The pro licenses in those cars. Just behind, just ahead of the Odox and Teo Martin car is the other Odox car, the Zenith ASR car. They've got past the Radicals car while we were watching that replay, and they're well and truly into it now.
Yeah, they are. Amador versus Lorenz, and Amador is looking very pacey.
Almost sounds like a little bit of fuel saving from the BMW as well, the Zenith ASR car.
Yeah. Where did those guys start? They started 19th. The Zenith car.
Yeah, as I said before, they sort of caught us a little bit by surprise, and here we go, side by side here.
Okay, so Sergi Lorenz just full-on lifted out.
Yep. Decided no point fighting, work together, save some fuel. Maybe, as well, the Odox car may have heard what I just heard too from the onboard. There's a bit of fuel saving going on in the Zenith car, and don't really want to play that game and let the other car fuel save. You better prefer to be the car that's doing the saving, not helping the other cars out. So tuck him behind and see what can happen.
Yeah. I do wonder what the reaction to that would be in the Zenith garage.
The Zenith car now up 7 spots into 12th.
I want to draw your attention to something. The RSO Audi has gotten by Evolution Racing Team number 32.
They have.
Yeah, and Esta Racing Team are now pressuring the back of Jakub Brzezinski there.
That Ferrari always looks strong at the end of these stints, doesn't it? It did last week at Monza. The second half hour of these stints, the Ferrari looks like it gains pace on the Mercedes, doesn't it?
Yeah, certainly does. Yeah, I tell you what, Marin Cholak and Vedran Kral in the Esta Ferrari, I think they've been one of those unsung heroes in BES so far, with their drive at Monza and the fact that they've been able to do the things that they've been able to do in that Ferrari against, you know, they don't have any Ferrari compatriots this round, so again, quite impressive from them.
I think we saw 3 or 4 Ferraris at Monza, and the fact that we've got just the one this round shows how tough a job they will have. I think we've only got the one Audi as well. Now we've got 2 Audis, the 2 Team RSO Audis. Let's go back ahead to the Radicals Online car, the Odox and Teo Martin Esports cars. They were in their own battle that we were watching before, but they've got company reps. They've caught up to the back of the Radicals car, which we know is going to be down on pace in comparison. And I'm going to say another 8 laps before that Radicals car will be in.
Yeah, for sure. Can't wait to see how that pans out. I'm also looking further back in the field. Remember how earlier we were talking about a battle for positions 33 to 35? Well, now it's turning into a proper 4-car train for 31st back. Have a look at the battle between Iberica and GT Ross.
Yeah, very, very close, aren't they? Good to see. Nice tight battles the whole way through the field. The top 10 all pretty much not in any fights at the moment, and the rest of the positions are the ones that are taking these fights on.
Yes, indeed. And Johnny Bachmann will be really enjoying seeing that sight in his mirrors. The Iberica and GT Ross cars battling, holding each other up. That means that Taiki Yamaguchi in the Dream Spirits Racing Mercedes may be able to come up to the back of these guys pretty soon.
Yeah, of course, that car is the car in the Magic number 26. They are in the cutoff at the moment, so they'll want to move forward a little bit more than where they are at the moment. The Odox, Motorsport Samsung and the TO Martin Esports cars have got past the Radicals car. But I'll tell you what, they look very, very racy. The 65 and the 14.
Yeah, goodness me. Sanchez getting into the grass on the exit of Luffield. Shows you how hard he's pushing.
Of course, they've got to be a bit careful fighting too hard and using too much curb and grass areas as well. The incident limits that they have in these races.
Yes, indeed. And I can see, or can I? The TO Martin Esports car had quite a good entry into Cops, but just lost a bit of ground, and looks to me like he had a bit of a slide coming out of Beckett's.
It's gone just behind that battle pack to the Team RSO BGT, Evolution Racing Team and the Ester Racing Team cars, 17th, 18th, 19th. Yeah, that Audi actually looking quite good at the moment. I mean, it doesn't have the pace of the other cars, but looks to be just doing enough of everything.
Yeah, that's good to see from Team RSO. They're just staying out of trouble right now, and that car looks pretty clean.
Oh, the Gym Racing Azuri car, the number 17, facing the wrong direction. Try and pick up what's happened to that car.
Evan Filosa has gone back. No, he's not gone back to the pits, or has he?
Okay, so that's some sort of weird incident there. They disappeared and then reappeared and then ended up in the fence, so not too sure what happened there for that car. That was strange.
Yeah, oh, when he came back,
just got a bit of a...
like, he just, when he blinked back into existence and was sliding, the Mad Cow racing car had just gotten by, so... And that was in the middle of the straight between Club and Abbey. That is a very odd incident.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
So just with the way that it was blinking and disappearing at the same time is just a bit strange. So we're back on board with the Ester Racing Team. See if they can hunt down. Have a look at how quickly the Radicals car is dropping now into the clutches of the Team RSO car.
Yeah, the tyres are gone on that BMW, well and truly gone.
Last lap 49.5, so saying that lost nearly a full second to the Team RSO car last lap, which did a 48.6, so 9/10 of a second. Saying that, I think they'd be still pretty happy with that pace that they're doing mid-49s, even with those worn tyres.
Oh, just turned in a bit too early for Priory, and, well, Philip Schallenberg wasting no time getting by. As does Jakub Brzezinski, but he's caught out on the marbles and the gravel, the exit of Luffield. So that wasn't quite as easy of a time as Brzezinski would have hoped, but he's back past the Radicals Online car, and, well, Philip Schallenberg will be loving that. He's gotten a bit of a gap over the ERT machine that he didn't quite have.
Just going back just ahead to the Team Martin Esports car. They're right behind the Odox car now. This is the closest they've been. And they're well and truly within pouncing range here. Get a good exit here and we're within dive bomb range. I think he has.
Yeah. Got a bit of a draft run here. Might we see a move at Stowe? He pulls out, has a look. Just not quite able to get up to the A-pillar.
Yes, the racing team car has got past the Radicals car as well in the background. And that Radicals car, I'm thinking, is about 7 minutes away or so from pitting. So about 4 more laps. And I'm fairly sure that Matt Busser will be absolutely crossing them off in his head already.
Yeah, I think so, because that car does not look fun to drive right now. Looks like he's really struggling to maintain any semblance of grip through these corners.
Yeah, very, very tough to drive these cars on absolutely destroyed rubber. And we have heard some teams in testing, when they were testing to see if they could do the double stint, were blowing tyres. So
yeah,
obviously you don't want that to happen in the race. As a blue flag racing car, looks like they'll get through and move done quite easily here. But I definitely don't want to get it to the point where the tyre blows. That would be way too much. But you want to get it to the point where it's almost on the edge when he comes into the pits. Saying that still won't be too fun to drive.
No, certainly not. Well, with all of that done, I suppose that battle between Odox and Tia Martin is super close now. Yep. I think we might see a move.
This is on this time.
They come down the hangar straight and...
Oh, the Odox car I thought was going to move across to defend the position. Move done. So after about 15 laps of looking, the Tia Martin Esports 65 car is finally through on the Odox Motorsport Samsung car.
Yep, and it looked to me as though Sanchez sort of backed out of the corner a bit. I think he sort of recognized that Cordova had the pace, and yeah, it was a bit pointless trying to keep the battle going any longer. Well, that core sim racing BMW up the front has now stretched the gap to almost 25 seconds.
Amazing drive from these guys at the moment. They've done a phenomenal job. They're still lapping in the mid 47s. The Van der Waal cars, nose to tail still. I'd expect to see the Van der Waal blue car jump the yellow at the next pit stop. It's been tucked in behind for this entire stint, so I'm sure that he has saved fuel as Cornelis in this stint.
Yes, indeed, and of course both the Van der Waal cars still with their starting drivers in the cockpit, so they'll be handing over to their teammates when they jump into the pits next.
Good drive in this stint as well from the Gym Racing Yellow cars. Daniel Cruz at the wheel at the moment. They're up 10 spots from their starting position. Started 14th and up into 4th at the moment. So they're doing a very, very good job as well.
Yeah, very consistent lap times as well in the mid to low 48s. So Gym Racing doing everything they need to right now to ensure a top 5 from a 14th place start.
Tell you a battle it's come almost out of nothing over the last couple of laps. 6th, 7th and 8th has really closed up.
Yeah, definitely have. Alvaro Ramiro in the number 51 car, combined with Adam Sibilak in GTL VRT and old mate John Del Valle in the Iberica Thrustmaster car.
They've done a very good job in that car too.
Oh, yeah.
Or he has, I should say. He'll hand the car over when he comes in for this stop, knowing that he has done everything he can to get that car into a position where they will be fighting at the end.
Yeah, Del Valle's been, I think, one of the star drivers of this race so far. If you don't count the core BMW, which has been absolutely untouchable.
Take the top 3 out of it, then your next best has been, I think, that the 10 car at the moment. As well as the Radicals car as well. I think that's done a very, very good job as well. They're still just dropped out of the top 20 now, but this stint from both the 10 and the 221, I think has been very, very impressive from both of those teams.
Yeah, it certainly has. But having said that, shout out to the GTL VRT Gold car. They're currently running in 7th. They started in 20th. So those are the guys that that were just outside the top 26 on points coming into this round. So if they manage to keep that position, they'll be in with a shot.
As we were just saying, that the big winner out of this this phase of the race, this sequence of the race, has been the Radicals Online car. They were in the top 10 at one point, now back into 22nd position, but they are by far the highest ranked car to do that alternate strategy. Just dropped another spot. Still up 30 positions though. You take that knowing when you're letting someone go through on new tyres that, oh well, I'm still up 30 spots. Doesn't matter too much. But a great stint from and great strategy play from the Radicals Online team. See if he comes into the pits this time.
We shall see.
67 minutes on the clock. We're hearing most teams will make it fairly easily on 65. So if you're making it easy on 65, 67 might be the magic number that you need. And look at that.
There we go.
Great stint. Well done.
Yep, fantastic job from Radicals Online. So whoever Matt Busser hands the car to with fresh tyres, let's see what they can do from here.
We'll see where they come out after this round of pit stops as well. Obviously, tyres and fuel this time. No hope of them not taking tyres. We go back to the Theo Martin Esports, the GTL VRT Gold and the Iberica Racing Thrustmaster battle. 6th, 7th and 8th.
Yes, indeed. And a quick correction from the broadcast chat. It is Matt Busser, not Busser. Apologies to Matt. Wouldn't be V8s Online if we didn't get some names wrong.
I always get names wrong. The reason I said Busser, I had a school teacher that was Mr. Busser, spelt that way. So that's why I said it that way. So my apologies.
That's perfectly understandable. I forgive you, Jay.
Never even remembered I had a school teacher until I saw that name. I'm like, oh, I wonder what... Do you ever do that? That's a bit weird, isn't it? Anyway.
Yeah, I do it sometimes.
Yeah, it's a line off a tangent once again.
Yeah.
School was a long time ago for me, so I'm surprised I can remember things from there.
Let's talk about the school lunchroom.
Oh, no, let's not.
Yours wasn't that good,
no,
was it?
Let's go that. No.
Okay.
No way.
Mine was okay. We had a cafe.
No. Unless you like to pie and a sausage roll, there was nothing for you.
Ah, the old canteen, eh?
Yep, she was terrible. Let's watch
Quick
out.
reminder to the both of us that there is a virtual motor race going on right now.
Is there really? Apparently there's 1 hour and 5 minutes left in it too, and don't forget you can keep up to date with everything that is happening, because we are missing action. We do know we are missing things. It's very, very hard to keep up to date with everything happening with 55 cars in a race, but you can keep up to date on our website at v8online.com/live-timing, or you can also keep up to date if you can't watch a stream on YouTube. We are also live on our Facebook page, facebook.com/v8online, where we broadcast live for pretty much all of our broadcast events. Try and be live on Facebook as much as we can.
Another battle happening on track right now is for 32nd and 33rd. Dream Spirits versus Team Hosinkerveld. Those guys have been very close for the last half a lap. I've been watching them.
Yep, they are the first cars lap down as well, so we want to try and move up. Reese, we know that you had a sim racing album out, so everyone's actually asking if you can do a sim racing rap for us as we've got the Vandervelde car in the lane. You knew that was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, yep.
So a driver swap in the number 13 Vandervelde car as well. So they're dropping back through the field, but they're the first of our front runners to play their cards and make that stop, and not a bad strategy call for them to do that. My overlays have just decided to stop working for a second. There we go. We're back again.
No trouble. Dave Gelling taking over from Juan Lopez in the Vandervelde yellow car. And I think I'm seeing an ERT car in the pits as well. That was Johnny Guindy.
Yeah, they're back in 38th position now. They've come out. Nick Ottinger just has got behind the wheel of the Radicals Online car, so they'll be seeing what they can do now that they've come back out with these fresh tyres. They can get themselves back inside the top 20, even up into the top 15. I think that's a huge performance from where they started this race.
Yeah, certainly. And I think seeing it mentioned in the broadcast chat that Radicals may not have saved much time by not changing tyres. So, well, I don't know. We'll see at the end of the race. There's still an hour to go.
Yeah, I think time isn't what they were necessarily doing there. It was track position. They were getting ahead of cars that they were struggling to get past. They've now got past them because they took that fresh stop. They've net gained more in regards to track position than it ever was about time. Yodok Samsung car is in the lane as well, so that car has jumped out of that battle and into the pits.
Yep, and Javier Stella now in that car. Tell you what, the battle's still raging on for 5th, 6th, and 7th. These guys have been absolutely glued to each other, lap after lap.
Yep, doing a great job maintaining that gap too between each other there. They're just doing enough amongst themselves to maintain each other's gaps. So I wouldn't be surprised if the GTL VRT Gold car has saved a bit of fuel as the TM Martin Esports car comes into the lane. So, and the Iberica car as well. I wouldn't be surprised if those two cars have saved some fuel in the last 10-15 minutes while they've been tucked in behind there. So, and the Gym Racing yellow car also in the lane. And the GTL car's come out with a car that's just come out of the pits, has just ducked straight in front of them. So you're going to be careful here with cold tyres with that car just ahead.
Yep, and Del Valle is still right there.
He's done a great job, hasn't he? 1 hour to go.
Yep, and it's been quite the interesting race so far. We've hasn't been as out and out exciting as Monza, but we have seen some very intriguing strategy plays from a few cars in the field, and also some interesting incidents, I suppose.
I love how you said interesting.
Yeah.
That's when we don't... Oh, there we go.
Oh,
That's...
hang on a moment. What was that all about?
So the Iberica car's just gone through.
Yeah, the GTL VRT just got on the brakes.
Let them go.
Yeah, just got on the anchors. What happened there?
I'm a bit surprised by that.
Yeah, because I mean, you'd think if they were just letting them go by letting them slot in ahead, they wouldn't have. Oh, there's pitting.
Yep. I was about to say too that the Pure Racing Team car caught up to the back of the Evolution Racing Team car as well, but that battle has ended because into the lane comes the ERT car, the 29 of Elliott Biddle.
Yep, and Elliott Biddle will be leaving that car now. Let's see who jumps in.
At the front though, Core now 28-second gap. For the first time in a long time, they did a 1 minute 48. Oh, it's terrible pace from them. 48 flat their last lap around. So
get it together, guys.
Oh,
what are you doing?
What are you doing dropping into the 48s for pretty much the first time in the race?
Unacceptable.
No, not good enough. So push on for another lap. Now, first driver that has done 2 stops is the... I was just seeing the Torrent Motorsport car into the pits. The Vandervelde Sim Racing Yellow car is our lead car that has done 2 stops. They've just come past the Torrent and Evolution Racing Team cars, who are both in the pits, as well as the GTL VRT Gold car and the SRB Racing cars. They're both just coming out of the pits now. So the Vandervelde car, see where it comes out in relation. It's battling the team car, the team battle between the blue and the yellow in the Vandervelde cars for the last 2 spots on the podium at the moment.
Yes, indeed.
I'm just going to draw your attention to another battle again. Audi, Mercedes, Ferrari. It's on again.
Yeah.
I feel like 100%. We've seen this before. We've got a BMW in there for good measure now too. We got 4 cars all together.
Yep. So that's 4 different cars from 4 different teams, 4 different manufacturers. Team RSO, Evolution Racing Team, Esta Racing Team, and Blue Flag Racing.
And just to keep going on your 4, the first to 4th car in that pack, 1.4 seconds. How's that, just to keep it going on the 4s?
Yeah, I love those little little coincidences. They keep me going.
Yes, the racing car looks like it might have enough. No, not quite able to get the power down, but Evolution Racing Team might be able to get a move done here. The Audi's got decent pace down this straight.
Yeah, it certainly has. And, I mean, Philip Schallenberg is doing very well to keep these guys behind him. The Blue Flag Racing car did drop off down the hangar straight, but now Sindra Setsas is right back in it once again. They're really going to close up when they come into this final sector of the lap, though.
Yeah, this is the bit that the BMW looks unmatched, I guess, is the best way to describe it. They are absolutely poles apart from everyone else in this section of the lap. Tough when you're tucked in behind, though, when you're in the BMW, because it's also not an easy spot to get a move done. As we're seeing the ART car. Oh, contact! The Audi's around, the ART car's around! Wow.
Oh, okay.
Let's get another look at that from another angle, because
Of course, I chose a great time to Alt-Tab. I completely missed that.
it almost looked like maybe thought the door was left open and then it wasn't. It was just a little bit understeer, so
Yeah, Schallenberg was just doing the thing of making Luffield double apex, and yeah, I think Brzezinski just thought he was leaving the door open when he actually wasn't.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's taken both of those cars out of any meaningful position.
Yep, both into the pits to get their pit service done. But unfortunate for both of those cars. So go back to the front. It's always an interesting battle. The one that's going on right at the very front at the moment. The lead car, the number 1, is just ahead has the Glacier South car. Now the Glacier South car, the 18, that is trying to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, desperately. As I've just seen the Vandervelde Sim Racing blue car take a pit stop, and Robin Esterson takes over that machine.
Yep, so running it absolutely dry, the Core Sim Racing and the Iberica Racing Thrustmaster cars, as well as the Pure Racing Team Black cars. But I would say the Core car will be in this lap, especially if it's getting held up a little bit here by the Glacier South car. Although Johnny Backman not doing anything wrong, just wanting to stay on the lead lap, because it's a little bit of a psychological game being on the lead lap, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Once you get lapped, I mean, your driving style kind of changes.
Here comes the Core car.
There he goes. Yeah. So Johnny Backman can breathe a sigh of relief now.
We still have 38 runners in the race, so 38 cars still pushing on. Only showing 9 cars on the lead lap, but obviously the leader had not pitted, so they had come around and lapped quite a fair bit of traffic. Let's go back to a battle, 18th, 19th, 20th. Change position now, I believe, but Paraguay Racing in the 83 car, the 032 Redface Racing Pro Q Pro, and the SRB Racing number 7. These guys have come out of the pits all pretty close. Actually, sorry, the SRB Racing car has pitted twice, and the Paraguay Racing and the Redface Racing cars are yet to make their second stop.
Well, this may turn out very well for that particular car.
Iberica Racing Thrustmaster in the pits, so taking the race lead now, the Pure Racing Team Black car. And the Core car comes out of the pits in 5th position.
Yep, so Pashalis Gergis is now at the wheel of the number 1 car. And Mark Elkerman up ahead of him in the Pure Racing Team yellow car, getting by position number 32. That's Phil Mashaga in the PSR red.
Of course, yet to pit as well. So second car to make... Oh, now as expected, the Vandervelde blue car has come out ahead of the Vandervelde yellow. So about 4 seconds in the end. Probably a little bit closer than I would have expected. Especially,
yeah, definitely.
7.5 second quicker stop for the Vandervelde blue over the Vandervelde yellow, but the gap was only 3.8 seconds. So the Vandervelde blue car actually spotting a little bit of damage on the front left as well.
I don't know if that was there when they took the pit stop. Hang on a minute. I don't know. That's very strange. Yeah, the damage was there when they took the pit stop, so it's been on that car for some time.
Just see the core sim racing car come past the 32nd position car. The 77 of US Balai, PSR Red. Those guys did not too bad. Mid-pack in the first round at Monza.
We are seeing some reports in the broadcast chat that the external sound of the cars is a bit low. Apologies for that.
Yeah, very tough one to fix on the fly, sorry.
Yeah.
It's very, very tough when you're directing and commentating to have all the audio levels up high enough without making it that loud that you can't even hear the other commentator talk. So it's a little bit hard, a little bit tough. It's a fine balance, and sometimes it's not quite as easy to get as just flicking a switch or adjusting a couple of numbers. So it's very, very fine line to get right. So our apologies if it's not as perfect as we would love it to be. Seeing the core sim racing car now stuck behind the pure racing team yellow car, which is yet to make its pit stop. They've still got about 11 cars or so left to make their second stop, because we've only got just over 47 minutes left in this race.
Yeah, so it's going to be a short and sweet final stint for a few of these guys.
The big thing with that too is it means shorter fuel stop as well, so they'll be able to splash maybe 10 seconds less of fuel.
Elkerman's in no hurry to let Pashalis Gergis by, but it looks like Gergis has a bit of a run on him coming down the hangar straight. He's just going to slot in behind.
Yep. And just on screen is the Gym Racing yellow car. Now that car was in 4th before the stops. It's still in effective 4th position, but the Torrent Motorsports car has gained around about 1.5 seconds in the pit stop behind.
Yeah, that Torrent Motorsports car, I've been keeping an eye on that for quite some time. Kimmo Suominen having taken over that car at the first pit stop. They are looking very good for some extra position gains. Just keeping an eye up the front. Pure Racing Team is in the pits. Esther Racing Team stays out.
Now just also looking, sorry Reese, to draw your attention away again. The Torrent Motorsports car, we said obviously have gained a fair bit of ground on the Gym Racing car, but the Evolution Racing Team car, the 29 and the 10, the Iberica Racing Thrustmaster car, they've closed up as well on the Gym and Torrent cars. So
yeah,
that's not over for 4th through 7th effective in this race.
Yeah, they're running lap times very close to each other as well, so
the Torrent and the Iberica cars are actually the fastest in this pack, so
yeah,
we could see a real interesting battle by the end of this one.
We certainly could. I mean, we've seen, like, if a couple of cars decide to go side by side through here around this track, they really slow each other up. So if Gym Racing Yellow and Torrent Motorsports go side by side at any point, that is going to allow ERT and Iberica to catch right back up.
Good news for your Ferrari fans. So Ferrari is now leading this race. The one and only Ferrari is in the lead, the Esta Racing Team car. Won't be for too much longer, but it is leading at the moment, yet to make their second stop, and I would be guessing they will be in this lap, as well as the Pure Racing Team yellow car. Now, interesting strategy play here. The Pure Racing Team black car, they're an effective second, no tyres. This is going to be a really, really big call for the Pure Racing Team black car.
Yeah, certainly is. Well, that's yeah, that is really, wow, yeah, that is quite big. Just worked through it in my head.
It's ambitious, is what it is.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, the BMW can double stint tires. With you know, of course, it is difficult in any car, but in the BMW, you're slightly better off because it just has that cornering grip to make up for it. But the Mercedes, has a bit more weight to throw around. So staying on a set of tires in the Mercedes, I don't know how that's going to work out for them.
It's courageous, so good luck to them. I know that I would not be wanting to do it, and I know a lot of other teams, or a lot of teams out there, would have never ever expected it to be possible or thought that they would want to do it. So rather them than us. That's all I'm going to say to that. Good luck to Damien McPhee for this stint. He's only got 43 more minutes to go with these absolutely destroyed tyres. They will be already, so...
Yeah, well, starting in 17th position, I suppose they've elected to just see how high they can finish. I would expect the Esta Ferrari in this lap. Decided to stay out for one more. Pastelis Gergis is bearing down on him, and Vedran Kral stays tight out of Luffield and goes straight into the pit lane.
It's only 3 more cars left to make their second pit stop. And it is the car ahead of that very tantalising battle that we were just talking about, the effective 4th through 7th battle. So Jim Racing car possibly could get held up here. And the Torrent car is right there now.
Yeah, they are. And Marcel T in that Team Hosingfeld car. 49.5 on the last lap. And Jorge Blasco Valls almost a full second faster than him on the last lap. Actually more than a full second faster. And the Hosingfeld car goes into the pits. So the Jim Racing car has been unleashed once again. But that has really helped out Torrent Motorsports.
As indeed.
Yeah, they're almost bumper to bumper now. Barely a car length between them as they come out of Cops.
And they've been able to pull a decent gap on the Evolution Racing Team car. And the Iberica car as well has dropped. So they've dropped in behind the Pure car. So something's happened there. And that Pure Racing Team car as well, also no tyres.
Oh yeah. So yeah, both Pure Racing Team cars without tyres, and it looks like Iberica's going to go back through on them here. Of course, on fresh tyres.
Yep, not too surprising to see that happen, as the Jim Racing car has just been passed by Torrent Motorsport.
Yeah, looks like that happened coming into Stowe.
Yep. Actually looks like the Jim Racing car got out of the throttle a little bit early there too.
Maybe trying the old save a bit of fuel game. Maybe they short filled.
Possibly. Either way, the move is done. We go back live. The Torrent Motorsports car has around about... Oh, the Ester racing car as well. Sorry, I just noticed that too. It also has taken no tyres, and it has come out ahead of Torrent and Jim.
Okay.
So here we go. Some interesting strategy calls from Pure and Ester Racing. 3 cars who did not take tyres. Looks like almost everyone else in the field has. But a very interesting strategy play from these guys.
Yeah, certainly is. And, well...
Oh, the Pure Racing Team yellow's around. Upside down.
No. Oh, no. How did that happen? Oh, it was a contact with a car coming out of the pits. Renan Azeredo of Paraguay Racing. He looks like he elected to take the longer pit exit to try and stay out of the way of other cars, and then the Pure car getting back onto the racing line for the Beckett's S's just didn't see him.
Almost as if you didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
Disappointing
that
end.
is a real shame. Also, an interesting way to end up on your roof. Looked like the physics sort of threw their hands up and turned the car over while it was in the wall.
One of those slow motion spins, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, so we watched now the Ester Racing car. That's taken a car that was in the top 10 out as well. That's really disappointing. It's throwing me a little bit. The Ester Racing car is being hounded by the Torrent Motorsport and the Jim Racing cars. No tyres, of course, for the Ester Racing Team car.
Yeah, and I mean, I was going to say before we had that Pure Racing Team incident, the fact that the initial stint from Marin Cholak was, I think, a bit longer, definitely helped them out there. Because obviously they've pitted with about, I don't know, 45 to 50 minutes to go.
Yeah, well, they ended up 10 laps longer, or 10 laps later than the 2 cars behind on that stint.
Yeah. So obviously with that, they think, well, it's going to be a shorter stint to the end anyway. We might as well see if we can make these tyres last.
Get another team that's in a nothing to lose situation, aren't they? Try something to try and salvage a top 10 in a car that shouldn't be anywhere near it. But the Ferrari fans are well and truly trying to keep the faith at the moment and doing a great job as it stands now. Only 36 minutes to go, so we've only got about 20 laps of racing to go. The pace they've got, they lose, say, half a second, they're going to finish just on top 10. Thereabouts.
Yeah, definitely. But Ester's looking to lose 2 positions quite soon unless Vedran can make his car super wide.
Another thing too now, though, we saw drivers not be too ambitious in the first 2 stints. There's going to be a lot of blocking and a lot of big attempts to pass in this stint.
Yeah, they certainly will. It's not just about setting up for the race finish now. Like, we're beyond that point.
This is about finishing as absolutely as high as you possibly can and doing everything in your power to do it.
Oh, but Vedran Kral had a bit of trouble there through the S's, getting caught on the marbles. Looks like Torrent Motorsports is going to well and truly go by here before Stowe. Yeah, Kral just lifted off a little before Stowe, letting Kimmo Suominen through, and now he's got the Jim Racing yellow car for company.
Yeah, and that Jim Racing yellow car will be fairly keen to get by as quick as possible too, so I'm sure it won't take too long for that car to get through. can just see the lack of rear grip in that Ferrari. Just needing to be a little bit ginger on the throttle now with the 40-odd lap old tyres.
Yeah, and I can see that Kral is leaning on the fronts a bit coming into those corners just to try and keep the car going as much as he can. Keep that average speed up, but Jim Racing car is looking very pacey. But I tell you what, he's actually getting held up quite a bit by the Ester car because Swerminen's just run away at the moment.
Yeah, he has. It just took a big chunk of time, pretty much 1.5 seconds that lap. Another battle that is now on. This is 4 podium positions. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th isn't too far away. We've got the Pure Racing Team black car, Damien McPhee. He's got to salvage another half an hour out of these tyres somehow. They won't be liking it. He won't be enjoying it. But in 2nd position at the moment. He's going to try and defend from a very, very fast Vendaval sim racing car that is trying to come on through.
Yes, indeed. The Vendaval blue car started in 5th place, and well, they've managed to stay on through the thick and thin in this race and be one of those top 2 cars to just eke out this magnificent gap over the rest of the field. And if they can salvage that P2 once again, well, I think it's almost inevitable at this stage. Look at how much he's gaining on McPhee.
Just going to get a quick replay, Reese, of a pass between Jim Racing and Ester. It's just finally happened. And we'll go
So
back to
Jim
Vendaval.
Racing, yes, Jim Racing unleashed once again to pursue Torrent.
Vendaval blue is right there now, isn't it? But
Yeah.
we've seen BMW great pace, but we haven't seen the BMW make too many passes. While it's really, really quick, it doesn't look like it's as easy to get past. I mean, we know that the straight line speed isn't great, so Dive Bomb City here though. Dive Bomb City, population 1.
Yeah, looked to me like McPhee backed out slightly. So
I think McPhee knew that there was no fighting needed to happen there. He'd just tuck in behind and maybe get a bit of draft to help him along.
Yeah, don't want to stress those tyres any more than you need to, especially when they've been on the car that long.
Yep. Great strategy call once again from those guys to now find themselves in 3rd. Now, we were talking earlier about strategy games as well. Just want to go back to the 221, the Radicals online car. They've now found themselves into 21st position. That's actual legit 21st position now with fresh tyres, and good strategy call from those guys there, plus 32 spots from their starting position. So a great job from those guys to get themselves into a position to salvage some points out of an absolute nothing race when you're starting in 53rd. So well done.
Yeah, very well done. And Nick Ottinger, about 8 or 9 laps into the stint, set that car's fastest lap of the race at 48.116. So he's really using those fresh tyres to his advantage here.
So we're right on board with the Iberica Racing Thrustmaster car. As you can see, the Evolution Racing Team car 29 just ahead, and just ahead of that you can see that very, very white Ferrari, the Ester Racing Team car. This will be a proper battle very, very soon, because that Iberica Racing Thrustmaster car, that's the car I was referring to about the BMWs that struggled to pass, that have looked quick. That car has looked quick all day, but hasn't been able to get any real significant moves done on any of these Mercedes that it has been quicker than.
Yeah, certainly not. And I mean, The whole reason that it isn't higher up is because of cars like the Esta Racing Ferrari that haven't taken tyres in this last stint. In fact, I think we've got... Did the Jim Racing yellow car take tyres at that last stop?
Yes, it did, yes.
Right, so that's just outright pace from those guys, which is awesome to see. But Esta and Pure did not take tyres, so I think that's played into where Iberica's at right now. This Evolution Racing Team number 29 car with Simona Maria Marceno at the wheel.
Oh, move done.
There we go. Pass. Into Priory. Good place to attempt a move. Pepo de las Heras made it work.
Yep, great move. Caught us a little bit by surprise, but well done. And on that car will fight.
So back into 8th position goes the Iberica Racing Thrustmaster car. Of course, Iberica Racing's last hope left in this race after its other two cars, the 444 and the 147, both faced issues.
Yeah, not a great night for that team after what was a pretty good night at Monza 1 week ago. As we go to the Vendaval Sim Racing yellow car now, that car is closing up to the back of Damien McPhee in the Pure Racing Team car.
Yep, and I think in due course Vendaval will reassume the final 2 spots on the podium, because Torrent Motorsports is pretty far behind.
Yeah, around about 10.5 seconds and lapping about the same pace, so I don't think there'll be any threat.
Yeah, and have a look at Dave Gelling. He is right on the back of Damien McPhee now, coming into this final sector of the lap.
Yeah, I think we'll see a move into turn 1.
Oh, have a look at how much slower McPhee is. Dave Gelling is having to get on the brakes in Luffield past the apex. And that right there, that's going to be move done for Vendaval here at Cops. Or is it? Goodness me.
Yeah, it will be for sure.
Yeah,
McPhee won't fight too hard. He'll want to make sure that he gets back in the line and save those tyres. He's got 10 seconds to the car behind, which is the car next to a position, the Torrent Motorsport car, lapping around about 1.5 seconds a lap quicker. So it's going to be tough for McPhee to hold on, but you never know what could happen. Could end up being the highest placed Mercedes in this race, or highest placed non-BMW. But the Torrent Motorsport car, fastest car on track at the moment, this car.
Have a look at that lap time, a 47.92. So Kimmo Suominen is on fire right now.
0.3 of a second out of the race leader. So we'll see. I'm going to say 6 laps, 10 minutes, and that car will be on the tail of the Pure Racing Team car, or even less.
Yeah. He's just taking chunks of time out of the number 72, lap after lap.
We just go to another car taking chunks of time out of another car. The Evolution Racing Team car tucked in behind the Esta Racing Team car.
Might we see a move at Abbey?
I'm very sure we will.
Having a think about it, but I think he's just going to stay behind for one more braking zone.
I'm surprised there was no dive there. I thought that was the opportunity. Had a bit of draft, had a bit of a run. Wouldn't have been too hard to get a bit of overlap and get the braking done, but decided against it. Sometimes it's better to be a little bit cautious in these races too. You don't want to cause an incident which could then end your race and get 0 points, especially when you are in a position that would get you through. Doesn't matter whether you finish first or 26th in the overall championship, as long as you finish within the 26. So there'll be some strategy games coming on with that as we go along too.
Yeah, certainly will. And looking at ERT versus Esta, Marceno looking once again coming into Cops, but he won't be able to get by that Ferrari this time around. I'll tell you what, through that first part of the Beckett's S's, Vedran Kral is doing extremely well, just leaning on those fronts, carrying as much speed as he can, and he's able to keep the gap to ERT consistent through that sector. But wait until they get to this middle part of the circuit, coming into Stowe. You can see that Kral is carrying the brakes much further into the corners than Marceno is. Now right on the back of him here at Club. Might we see the outbreaker move at Abbey this time around? I don't think so. He's a bit far back.
Yep. That last opportunity, I think, might now be realising that was the time to do it, because the Iberica Thrustmaster car has pulled a decent gap on these guys now too.
Yeah. And you can see through that last sector, Marceno is not pushing as hard as I thought he would.
No, I thought he'd be a lot more aggressive, so a little bit surprised. Saying that they fairly short stop in comparison to the other drivers around in that area, about 10 seconds shorter, so possibly have short-filled the car a little to get some track position. We love these strategy games, though, don't we? We love this game of motorsport chess.
Yeah, it's always very intriguing, gives you a lot to think about. Keeping my eye on Marceno, he's pulled out, have a bit of a look into Stowe, but still he's not quite far up enough. And the Esta racing car is currently doing a whoa, hang on.
Big move. Big move.
Yeah, that's late, but looks like he's
Good
made
job.
it work.
Yeah, great move in the end.
Yeah, I thought there's no way he'll be able to make that work.
No, I thought he was going off the track. So well done.
Yep. Very good stuff from ERT. They are now in 8th place in this race.
Let's go back to the pure Racing Team Black car versus the Torrent Motorsport best car. 2.5 seconds taken out of that car last lap.
Oh, wow.
And this lap, again, looks to be pretty similar. It is down to 5 seconds. Remember I said 6 laps? Let's make it 4.
Yeah,
it's on.
Me. Yeah. And Kimmo Suominen, these last lap times from him, for the last 6 laps, it's been 48 flats or 47 nines. He's super quick right now.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Fastest of the Mercedes out there at the moment by the looks of it.
Yeah, it looks like McPhee's lap times are wildly inconsistent compared to him. Of course, that would be largely due to McPhee lifting off and letting cars by on a couple of those laps, but still, he's about... That Torrent Motorsports car is taking 1.5 seconds a lap out of him.
And more. Like that. He's already taken a second on this lap so far. It's now down to 4 seconds. So,
yeah, McPhee is actually now within Suominen's line of sight.
Just got to be careful with this lap car just ahead. Hopefully don't get involved and we don't see any issues.
Oh, got a problem up ahead. Man, that was interesting between Redface and Ewer. What happened there? Looked like McPhee just decided to let the Redface racing car go, and Julien Guéret missed his braking point.
What that's done, it's meant that the gap that was 5 seconds at the start of this lap is now under 2.
Yep, so there's only 2 cars separating Suominen and McPhee here. One of them, Alex Q, Dream Factory. And Dream Factory is the car that was in 26th place in the standings before this race. He let Suominen by. I think after this result, Dream Factory is going to fall outside the top 26.
Seeing a pass as well. The Ester Racing Team cars now drop back to 10th position. They've just let past the Team Martin Esports number 51 car. That is moved done for position. Team Martin Esports now up into 9th. And the next car that is wanting to get into the top 10 is the GTL VRT Gold entry. You can see them in the same shot. So I don't think it'll be too long as we go back to the 4th and 5th battle. Have a look at how close these two cars are now. Speaking of cars within the same shot, they're well and truly in the same shot.
Yeah, just under a second now, and with every single braking zone, it is decreasing. Have a look at that. It is astounding just how much ground Suominen is making. Like, even with the knowledge that McPhee's tyres are basically shot, it's still really impressive just to see the pace difference between these two cars. And coming into this final sector of the lap, this is where you'll really see Suominen making those gains. Have a look through Priory, just making up another fraction of a car length into the braking zone for Brooklands, right on McPhee's bumper here.
Yeah, I think those tyres of McPhee won't be rubber anymore. They'll be feeling like cheese. They'll be feeling like something else. They will not feel nice underneath the car. But he's got to hold on for another 18 minutes. Got about 12 laps of racing left. 11 laps of racing to go. Thereabouts. Not too long. He can hold on. Can he hold on and keep it inside the top 10? Going to be tough for him to keep it inside the top 5 because the Jim Racing yellow car is not far away, and that was a fairly easy move from the Torrent Motorsport car.
Yep. So let's have a look at the lap times of the Jim Racing car. Looks like, wow, fairly consistent, low 48s from Vals there.
Yep, 48.2s. So that last lap for the Pure car, 49.9, obviously letting the Torrent Motorsport car through on this lap as well. So this lap is going to be 49s or 50s. So we'll see. And the Ester Racing car as well. We're going to watch that team car now because the GTL VRT Gold car is right there as well. So but 2 positional battles, 4 positions in the top 10, well and truly on right now.
Yes, indeed, and I tell you what, the GTL VRT Gold car will be cheering right now because, remember, before this round, they were just outside the 26, and if they can finish in the top 10, this is going to be a fantastic points haul for that team.
Yep, they are the bubble position, the 27th car, so they'll want to try and move up. The Jim Racing yellow car got that gap down to about 1.4 seconds, so it's pretty close now between those cars.
Yeah,
but
by next lap they'll be right on the tail.
Yeah, they will, and we'll see whether the Ester Racing Team car can hold on. I'm going to say that this will be done before the halfway point of this lap.
Yeah, looks like it. You can see all the way down the straight, Philip Aldak is making inroads on Vedran Kral, coming into Copse. So much more grip on that Mercedes.
Oh, geez, that Ferrari's struggling to hold on, isn't it?
Yeah,
it looks absolutely on the ragged edge every single corner at the moment.
Yeah, big struggle for Ester and for Pure.
Great strategy play to bring them in to the game where they had absolutely nothing to lose. So you got to commend them for thinking outside the square and trying something, which I don't think many teams would have been game to try. So well done on that aspect.
Yes, indeed. Here we go. Jim versus Pure coming into Abbey. Jorge Blasco Valls thought about it, but he wasn't quite close enough to McPhee to make it work. Have a look at the... Wow. Okay, so that, I think half of that is McPhee just backing off a bit, and half of it's just the sheer pace advantage the Jim Racing car has. They are through into position 5.
Oh,
now...
Almost contact between the Iberica Racing Thrustbuster car and the Pure Racing Team car as well then. So the Iberica car, I thought, was possibly thinking it might be able to follow those other cars through, and then had to get on the brakes to not make contact. So we've got 15 minutes to go.
That could have ended very badly.
Will Pure be able to hold on to this top 10?
Oh, that is the big question. Remember that, well, let's have a look at ERT's times. They're doing consistent low 48s. The Tio Martin Esports car doesn't look like they're going to be facing much pressure from Alvaro Ramiro. He is still faster than Pure Racing Team, but not by as much as the other cars in the top 10.
GTL VRT Gold still not able to get past the Esta Racing Team car, but we'll go back to the Iberica Racing Thrustmaster car, the Pure Racing Team Black cars. This is 6th and 7th.
I think GTL VRT is now getting by.
Yep.
Just got to run.
Yep. Took a lap longer than I was expecting it would, but through into the top 10 goes the GTL VRT Gold car, and slipping out of the top 10 after a very ambitious play, and I think it will pay off in some aspects because they are gaining some positions on where they would have been. The guys that they were battling with, they've jumped quite well, the Esta Racing Team guys, and well done for playing a very interesting strategy game. But we'll go back to the Iberica and Pure battle.
Oh, have a look at that. So that goes, that's well, you know, just like that, it's over.
12.5 minutes to go. And next for Pure to hold on to is the Evolution Racing Team car. And that car has been lapping the same lap times as Torrent, up in 4th position. So equal fastest Mercedes out there.
Yeah, once again, Simone Maria Marceno and Elliot Biddle have shown themselves to be the best ERT crew out there right now.
They've done a very, very good job. Don't forget the battle for the Black Stripe continues after we finish here tonight. RaceSpot will have broadcasts of the Road Pro Formula 1 series tonight once again. Make sure you tune in for that, and we'll be back tomorrow night as well. Tomorrow during the day for the Oceanic Endurance Championship.
Yep, getting up bright and early for that.
Yep, can't wait for that.
For me, anyway.
Is the sun even up when you need to get up for that?
Yeah, it would be now, considering that it's summer here in Australia. If it was in the middle of the year, it'd probably be a different story. But Evolution Racing Team now right on the back of the Pure Racing Mercedes. I think it's going to be moved on at Priory as per normal.
Yeah, just out of the throttle early and moved on.
Oh, no, not quite. It's holding on slightly. Oh, did I see a bit of oversteer there from Damien McPhee?
Possibly. Those tyres will have nothing left, so needs to be careful when he lets these guys through that doesn't put too much strain on those tyres and ends up with a puncture or running out of rubber, because there won't be much left at all. Next car to hunt down the Pure Racing Team entry is the Tio Martin Esports car 51. They've done a very, very good job today as well.
Yeah, and doing good mid 48 lap times. I don't know, Jay. I think what about the GTL VRT car?
They're running the same pace as the Tio Martin Esports car, aren't they? So
yeah. So I think Pure Racing Team are genuinely in trouble here for a position in the top 10.
I think they might just hold on for 10th.
Possibly.
The only car, the SRB racing car, which is coming up to the back of the Ester Racing Team car, they've got to pass the Ester car and then catch up to where the Pure team will be. So it's going to be pretty close between the SRB Racing and the Pure cars. I think they're going to come together pretty much on the last lap.
Well, if that does eventuate, there's certainly going to be a battle for the ages. Two cars on tyres that are well past any reasonable operating window.
Don't want to be the bearer of some bad news, but we've got a whole heap of drivers having internet issues, including our race leader.
Yeah, I'm noticing that.
This could not be good because I can see about 10 or 12 drivers who have disappeared off the timing sheets.
Yeah, not good at all.
So the Iberica car's just come back, but the Core Sim Racing car has not reappeared. This is not good for our race leader.
No, certainly not.
GTL VRT Gold car also has disappeared.
Kimmo Suominen is out as well.
Yeah, the Torrent Motorsport car, they're gone as well. Car. So the first and fourth place cars.
Yeah, and the leader's out.
Yeah, the leader.
Oh my god, that is not good at all.
So this is devastating. The Vanderbilt Sim Racing blue car is now officially the race leader.
Oh wow. I'm seeing people dropping everywhere.
Yeah,
it looks
hearing
like
a lot of spectators.
A lot of spectators.
Yep. This is not...
Schallenberg as well out. He was in the RSO car. Oh.
That's devastating for the Core Sim Racing car. They've done an absolutely perfect race, done absolutely everything right, and to have some other issue.
Here we go. Core is back with Ricardo Castrolito in the car.
Yep, and where have they come out? They've dropped back to 18th position. Because they're now back in the pits. That's very, very disappointing.
Yeah, certainly is. I mean, you can't fault Core. They did everything right, and to have that happen to them, you know, with mere minutes to go in the race, just God, I wouldn't want to be in that garage right now.
The Gym Racing yellow car now up into third position. Iberica Racing Thrustmaster car have found their way into fourth, so will the Ester Racing car be able to hold on? The Core car is coming back out on track now, and it looks like they're going to be timed in 10th position. So still going to get a top 10 by the looks of it, and they might be able to get a couple more spots in this last couple of laps.
Yeah.
That's really disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, still, yeah, that's just, I don't even know what to say to that, man. Like, oh no. The Pure Racing Team car dropped as well. That was one of the cars that dropped as well.
Yeah.
So Damien McPhee's only just gotten back into the server. Oh,
that's disappointing for those guys as well. So
that's turned the points on its head.
Yeah, that has for sure.
If these race results stand, you know.
That's changed the whole complexion of the race. It's disappointing for those guys that have played the really good strategy game and got themselves in a position to potentially pull something amazing out and do something no one else was game to do. Because that was what was happening there. That the strategies of McPhee in the Pure car and also the Ester Racing car, to do those strategy play that they were pulling there, would have been very, very interesting to see how that would have finished. Saying that the Core car back up into 9th, and have a look at the car that is ahead of them with 5 minutes to go, the Ester Racing car. So they'll be wanting to get past the Ester car ASAP.
Indeed they will, and first lap out of the gates for the core car once again. Well, it's not showing up on my timesheets as I think it was an invalid lap, but Ricardo Castroledo will certainly be driving the wheels off that BMW.
Yep, gap is 6.7 seconds between Esther and Core. So the pace that we know that Core BMW has, I would say it will be there with 1 to go.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, with these server issues, Vendaval has basically gotten a 1-2 finish out of this.
At the moment, they've got a fairly substantial lead over Jim Racing, about 18 seconds, separating the Vendaval yellow car in second and Jim Racing in third. And Iberica Racing Thrustmaster car has now found its way in fourth, Evolution Racing Team in fifth. On screen is 11th and 12th now on track. The Teo Martin Esports and the Odox Motorsports Samsung entry. It's a very, very close battle, and behind them as well, Euphoria Racing and Evolution Racing Team 32 car. They're rather close as well. So we've got two very close battles as we approach about 3 laps left in this race.
Yep, and the cars following in both of those battles are catching. Having a look at Euphoria versus ERT, you can see that Juan Segarra is not quite able to place his car as well as Nikodem Wisniewski in the ERT Mercedes. Oh, a little bit of a slide from both of them coming into Brooklands. And the battle for 11th and 12th. Javi Estella consistently 2/10 faster than David Perez.
Here we go, the Evolution Racing Team 32 up the inside of the Euphoria Racing car, and move done. Able to cover off that position, so up into 13th for Evolution Racing Team. So they've now got 2 cars, 5th and 11th. Vendaval also 2 cars inside the top, well, obviously 1st and 2nd, and Odox as well, the other team that has 2 cars inside the top 15. Mad Cow Racing now finds himself in 15th position too. So Bessie's moved away up the positions. Did you see what I did there? Oh, come on. It's had to be a
yes.
Had to be a cow pun in there somewhere.
I realize this. It's one of those things that you know, it's our duty.
Just needs to be done.
Yes. That said, it was an utterly painful pun.
Oh, that's a better one. That was better. So we go to the Vanderval Sim Racing Blue car. Minute and 50 seconds left on the clock. So we've got 2 laps left in this race. I'm sure while they'll be happy to be in the race lead, I'm 100% sure they will not be happy with how they've assumed the race lead.
Yeah, certainly. No one wants to win a race like that. It's just something that's completely out of the driver's control, which, you know, it's frustrating for everybody. Unfortunately, the possibility is always there that something like that will happen, so...
Yeah. Go back to the core sim racing car. They've got that gap to the Esther racing car down to 2.6 seconds. So they're really on a charge in this last stint. Trying to get their way back as many positions as possible. That lap just then, a 1:47.2. The fastest driver on track by 7/10 over the Vanderval cars. And by about 1.2 seconds over the fastest of the Mercedes. The Vanderval car,
thing, doesn't it?
Oh, it's so disappointing to see how this race has panned out. Vanderval car crosses the line to start the final lap of this race.
Yes, indeed, and Vanderval, as you said, Jay, It's probably not how they would have wanted to get a 1-2 finish, but a 1-2 finish and those kinds of points on the board would certainly not go astray in the Vendaval camp. And full credit to Vendaval. Core were the faster car today, but Vendaval were able to get up there and mostly stay with them. Don't forget, they eked out their own gap over the field at the start. So full credit to Vendaval.
And the
Really
Vendaval
good performance today.
The Vendaval yellow car as well to do that short fill in that first pit stop to get them track position and come out ahead of their teammates in the blue car. They cleared that massive gaggle of cars that they were involved in, that really messy pack, fourth through or third through to 6th or 7th. And the strategy game got them into that second position. It was third position, now second. So we go quickly back to the Ester Racing team and the core cars. Watch them for a quick moment because the Vendaval car is about to come across the finish line in just a moment. But here we go around the outside. Will the core car be able to do it?
Not
quite
right now. But up front, Robin Esterson exits Luffield to take the race victory at Silverstone for Vendaval Sim Racing Blue. Excellent result for those guys, and a 1-2 as well, not to mention. Dave Gellink crosses the line in second place.
Core has just got past Esther, so Core is now back up into 8th position. Well done to get back into 8th, but disappointing that you've ended up back in that position. But well done to the Core Sim Racing guys. They were the best drivers on track today, so while disappointing to not get the win, they definitely were the best out there on track today. They had a 37-second lead when that happened too, so very disappointing for those guys.
Heartbreaking, but still a top 10. There'll be valuable points on the board. And remember, there's still a couple of races that drivers can attempt this weekend.
Yep, still two more opportunities for the guys to get out on track and accumulate some points for this race at Silverstone, and then again 2 weeks time. We had an extra hour in 2 weeks, Reese. We go from 3 to 4 hours at Suzuka. That'll be a very, very entertaining race. That one.
Yep, certainly will. Yeah, and I would think that the BMWs will be the class of the field there as well, because you know, Silverstone has got those long flowing corners through certain sections of the lap. Suzuka is nothing but flowing corners. So, yeah, look out for the BMW teams there.
I'm just waiting for the last of the cars to come across the line. The Radicals Online car have ended up finishing in 16th position in the end. So well done to those guys playing an interesting strategy game. Obviously, they gained a couple of positions with the disconnections, but they've net gained 37 spots. So well done to them. It looks like the last of our drivers to come across the line is the Dream Spirits Racing. Soda Muto at the wheel. They are the car that is on the bubble, on the fringe, and they've ended up inside the top 20. So good result for those guys. They work towards finishing in the top 26 in this championship, where it is the payday. We'll run through the race results. Vendaval Sim Racing Blue, in the end 3.4 seconds over the team car, Vendaval Sim Racing Yellow. From Jim Racing Yellow in 3rd, then Iberica Thrustmaster in 4th, Evolution Racing Team number 29 in 5th, Teo Martin Esports, they finish in 6th position, SIB Racing in 7th, Core Sim Racing, Bez Black in 8th, Ester Racing Team, good job from those guys to end up in 9th in the Ferrari, and 10th position go to the Odox Motorsport ISAP Racing Team.
Teo Martin Esports will assume 11th place with Odox Motorsport. Samsung, number 14, in 12th. Evolution Racing Team number 32 goes from 31st to 13th. Mad Cow Racing Bessie from 33rd to 14th. Euphoria Racing finishes in 15th position. Radicals Online JRT, with by far the biggest position gain in the field, started outside the top 50 and finished in 16th place. A fantastic job from those guys, making that strategy call and not taking tyres at the first stop. Shinya Machimi Sim Racing Blue in 17th, Dream Spirits Racing in 18th, the last car on the lead lap. And 19th and 20th are Team Hosinkwald and Zenith ASR.
21st position, we've got the Evolution Racing Team number 5. Then we've got German Sim Racing Blue in 22nd, VEC Sim Racing NSH in 23rd, Redface Racing Q Pro 24th, and Pure Racing Team Black. Unfortunately, they've dropped back to 25th position after those issues as well. Dream Factory in 26th, Blue Flag Racing finishing 27th, then US Belleye PSR Orange 28th, Chance I Racing RTP in 29th, and Glacier South in 30th position.
Torrent Motorsport BES, another one of those teams affected by the issues in the last half hour, eventually classified in 31st. USabelli, PSR Red in 32nd. GTL VRT Gold, they were on course for a top 10, but unfortunately down in 33rd position. A real shame for those guys. GT Ross SST Pro as well, 52nd to 34th. Black Bull Racing ASR 35th, 36th Team RSO, and I think we're well and truly into the retirements by now. R70 Team Thrustmaster, Pure Racing Team, RSO BGT2, and Wave Driving Revolution round out the top 40.
Well, it's a very, very entertaining race. It was very, very fun to watch, and this series has been a lot more exciting than we were thinking originally it would be. We knew it was going to be tight and close, but the racing has been thoroughly entertaining the whole way through for the entire 3 hours in the first two races. And next round in 2 weeks' time, we'll no doubt put on a show as we head to Suzuka.
Yep, certainly will. An extra hour for the teams to contend with. I can't wait.
Yeah, can't wait either. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow. We're live in around about 10.5 hours time for the Oceanic Endurance Championship. If you love your endurance racing like we've had tonight, we've got 6 hours of Spa for you tomorrow. Then Monday we will have our usual V8 Supercar official series broadcast. Wednesday we will have the Oceanic Sprint Championship. And as we said, 2 weeks time we continue Blancpain Endurance Series, I should say, at Suzuka. Reese, thank you very much for jumping in the booth with me once again tonight.
Yep, and thank you very much, Jay, for commentating with me and directing as well. I mean, we had a couple of issues ourselves, but once again, it was a pleasure to bring the show to all the viewers.
Yeah, it has been a very entertaining show, so thank you very much. Well done to all the drivers who finished the race. Commiserations to the teams that had some unfortunate issues at the end. But thank you for tuning in here on V8 Online. We will see you next time for our next broadcast tomorrow. You've been watching V8 Online's coverage of the Blancpain Endurance Series. We'll see you next time.